Yep.
Um,
Yep.
I,
Yep.
I just think I think they probably want to keep the division moving. Don't you think?
Yeah, no, 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 I do. But whatever happens, I do hope Arnold gets, whether it's an interim title fight or just a mega main event or a
Hmm.
co-main event on a pay-per-view or something, because he deserves it. 10 fight, unbeaten in the UFC since 2014. I mean, that is something he
That's
should be
crazy.
incredibly proud of. And he's beaten good competition as well. Tim Means, Max Griffin, good fight, back and
Hmm.
forth. Griffin got the decision, split decision. What do you think of that one?
I mean, I thought Max Griffin won that clearly. Possibly could have been 30-27, but the judges were all over the place. All three judges in that fight had three completely separate scorecards, which is,
Yeah.
these judges are like, well, judging's hard to do, and this is a tough spot, and we're doing it in real time. Well, okay, well, explain to me how come three of you guys had three completely different scores? Because that's that's 29-28 one way, 29-28 for Griffin, and then
30,
30-27. Like,
27. Yeah.
Jesus.
Well,
It's
well,
not
well, well, you're absolutely right because yes, there is difference of opinions, but we have a criteria that the judges are based on. So
Mhm.
opinions should be out of the window. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's clearly defined criteria. You said to me the other night, said you were going to ask me about a particular fight about the scoring. Which
Mhm.
one was it that you were
Dustin
referring
Jacoby,
to?
Dustin Jacoby versus Khalil Roundtree.
Right.
I thought that was one of the worst decisions I've ever seen. And I think I was going to ask you because I'm very good friends with Dustin
Yep.
Jacoby. So I was like, well, maybe I'm biased. And then I started seeing everybody else was saying the same thing. Like, I don't okay,
Mm.
I think I did a pretty good job with shutting my bias off. And I thought 1 and 2 was clearly Dustin Jacoby. I didn't even think there was too much of a question there. Round three, absolutely clear Roundtree. Thought he looked great in the third round.
Yeah.
Pushed hard to the very last second. It's hard to turn on after losing 2 rounds in the third
Yeah.
too. So credit to him. Again, this isn't his fault. This he
No,
did what he was
no.
supposed to do. He did what he was supposed to do. He did his job.
You know what? I agree. I hesitated to say that there because when you're calling someone's fights to then come out afterwards and saying that I thought, someone that won didn't deserve to, it's kind of an awkward position. But
Right.
I'm a fan of Khalil.
Me
I
too.
really am. And I love the way he fights. I thought he looked sensational Saturday night. Problem was, Dustin Jacoby is so fucking good. So good. And while I thought Khalil should be proud of himself, and listen, it's not I don't think it was robbery per se, or one of the worst decisions I've ever seen. But if I was scoring it, I thought it was going to go to Dustin. I thought Dustin won 2 rounds to 1, just like you. I thought Khalil showed a lot of guts to come out in the third round and push the pace the way he did. And I thought he had a great third round. But I thought Dustin got it, and a lot of people thought so as well. I got a lot of text messages when I was commentating. People saying, "Well, what the fuck?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's nothing to do with me, bro." But I will also say this: that when I'm watching the fights, I'm not really in a position to judge it because I'm
Right.
not looking at it from that angle. I'm trying to look at them and trying to see patterns that they're doing. I've seen things that they're not doing, so my brain's working in a different way.
So is mine. Like I'm looking at what I'm going to talk about on the post show. Like,
Yes.
why is this working for him? Why is this not working for him? Where did he make an adjustment? Where did this change? What could he have done better? I was kind of looking at it from that view. But when you got a friend, a guy that you're close with,
Yeah, no, you're more invested.
I'm more invested, and so I'm a little more into like the scoring, like when I'm watching it. And the numbers were just completely one-sided, which that's not always an accurate. I don't know. It's not always an accurate barometer to use for fights, but it was still one-sided. That I don't know. It's not even about those two guys. It's about every single person who busts his ass, trains his fucking ass off, and runs himself into the ground for an entire training camp to convince himself to get in the octagon with another monster, especially a guy that's as explosive and scary
Oh,
as
Khalil's a
Khalil
monster.
Roundtree.
He's a
And-
monster.
And then to spend 15 minutes mostly ahead of him and doing the things that you're supposed to do and digging deep, taking hard fucking shots and still walking forward, and to do all of that, do everything right, and still lose, that's fucking terrible. Then you lose half your money. He was on a 9-fight unbeaten streak. We're talking about win streaks. 9 fights unbeaten. I've never been on 9 fights.
Nope,
I've
nope.
never been on 8-fight win streak in the
No,
UFC.
me neither. 5.
And I fought
the
for a
longest
title.
I got to in the UFC.
Yeah, and you were a champion for a while. Neither one of us have done that. So like,
Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't know, got a lot of 4s.
yeah,
With little
a lot of 3s and 4s for
and
sure.
I got robbed of a decision here and there, you know. But you're absolutely right. I mean, that's why I want to see the judges get better, because
Yeah.
the sacrifice that we, those guys, you know, the men and women. I mean, I don't need to tell you. This is for the believers, you know. You sacrifice so much, and you go out there and you fight your ass off, and you risk injury and putting your life on the line. You don't really do that, but you put your health on the line for damn sure. And ultimately, I guess you could be putting your life on the line. I hate to say it, but I'm assuming one day we might see that, because it's a game of numbers. You know what I mean? So I guess in the way you are putting your life on the line to a certain degree, and then to go through that, and then for the judges to take that away from you, because all we care, yeah, the money's great, and it is the final twist of the knife when you don't get your win bonus. But we go there with one objective. Yeah, the money's fantastic, but to fucking win as proud fighters, warriors, whatever term you want to use, we go there to fucking win. It affects your pride. You know, that's one of the hardest things.
And that was when I went and met up with Dustin afterwards and just had a conversation with him, and he was just crushed, dude. Like,
Was he?
He was crushed. You know, and he's worked. This is a guy who's been cut from the UFC at one point. Like, then to battle back through all the bullshit that he had to go through. It's not like he had a good time on the regional scene either. He struggled on the regional scene. And then to come back and kind of switch it all up, going 9 fights unbeaten, 8 wins. It's crazy. And then to lose it all on, and to know that you did enough to probably win. Like,
Well, I don't think his stock will go down. You know?
no, and I tried to tell him that too. I'm like, everybody everyone thinks.
Some pretty big people in the UFC messaged me and thought that he would as well. So, you know,
Right.
or shall we name them? Nameless.
Right.
Do the math.
And that's all that matters. And that's all that matters.
Yeah, no, it is. Sadly, decisions go against you, but as long as you get the recognition from the people that run the promotion, then, because like, what was it? Was it Jose Aldo and what was he called? I won a title shot. That's it. The bald head, Marlon Moraes. Marlon Moraes. Yeah. Remember Marlon beat him, but Dana
And then
came
they
out.
gave the title shot to
He gave,
Jose Aldo.
he gave Jose Aldo the title shot afterwards, because Dana was like, "There's no fucking way that Aldo didn't win that fight." So he's like, "I don't give a fuck. I'm giving him the title fight anyway." You know, so shout out Dustin. I like that guy. I like talking to him. I love watching him fight. We're gonna get him on the show. So I'll leave that one to you, Anthony.
I'll get him.
Best finish of the night. I don't know if you have the list in front of you there, but I'm looking at them here. Oh, we're going to talk about this one. Roman Dolidze. It was like the night.
That's the best. That's the best finish of the night. That's what I was gonna say.
Well, the fucking the circumstances as well. I mean, Phil Hart. If anyone doesn't know who Phil Hart is, that man has so much potential. I mean, his boxing is crisp. He can wrestle like a mother effer. He is confident. He's fast. He's explosive. He's got a great future, and he was looking great. He was looking really, really good. Lindsay took him down, went for a heel hook, and it was horrible to watch.
Oh, it was awful. Well, he went from like hard right hand, takedown, guard, armbar. Like, he chained a bunch of shit together really fast. Man, that nasty leg lock, kind of weird situation. But I think he hurt Phil Haas with the elbows from the bottom.
Yep.
I think he was hurt bad, and then found himself in some weird ass leg lock, and then I thought it was getting stopped, but then it wasn't stopped, and then, I mean, you know how it is. You did a prep on Phil. His primary defense is his footwork, and he gets out of the way more than he covers or slips or rolls. He's just gone when the punches come. You know, you kind of bang a knee up and end up kind of compromised, and you can't do that. And he was a sit and duck. You know, it was pretty clear for a significant amount of time before the knockout that he was going to get knocked out.
And with those punches that he landed against the fence, I mean, listen, you feel for Phil, because
I do.
You feel for Phil. You know, because he was what's the word I'm looking for? He was injured. You know,
Compromised for sure.
Compromised. There you go. Thanks very much. He was very much compromised in terms of movement. He was kind of on one leg, to be honest. Hey, that's the game for Lindsay. Oof, they were heavy shots.
It's your fault too.
It's my fault. I know. Do we have the video of that, Brian, by any chance?
Puts him out! God! Another highlight reel finish for Roman Dolidze.
What did you say about him to begin with?
So, I don't remember the exact comment, but one of his, because obviously now that's 2 fights in a row where he's finished by stoppage and he's looked really, really exciting and he's coming out of his shell and, you know, he's talking more and things like that. But in one of his fights, he dominated the guy. I forget which one it was now. He was truly dominating him, out-grappling him, out-hustling him, just controlling him. He could have done whatever he wanted. And if I remember rightly, I was just saying, listen, this is a great display of dominance, but you got to try and make it exciting. You got to go for the finish. You got to give the people some excitement, you know, because he's clearly in a position where he can afford to take some risks. You know what I mean? Because if he loses position, he's been getting it back anytime he fucking wants it. So anyway, apparently that struck a chord in him because he came up to me straight away in the ring in the octagon. He's like, I did this for you. No, this was because of you.
I was sitting right next to you.
So it's like me being a total narcissist. I'm like, oh, save it. Say it on the microphone. Make your stunning performance all about me for the world to see. And yeah, no, he just said, he obviously took that to heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he did. I was one of those fights. I was sitting next to you, and he came right to you. Like he looked for you immediately.
No, he
like
did.
where is Michael Bisping? I was like, oh shit, I'm out of here. This was on you, Mike.
Who else was doing that? There was another one on the night. They were screaming and shouting at me, but I love it when they do that. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp offers professional counseling done securely online. So if you feel like there's something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals, you need to check out BetterHelp. I say it all the time. We're all going through things. A lot of stuff goes on in our mind. We overthink things. We get paranoid. We have temper problems. We have things eating away at us. We have addiction issues. There's a whole host of things that will be affecting your performance in life and affecting your mental health. So speak to somebody. But sometimes speaking to someone is very daunting. You know, you've got to make the appointment. You've got to walk in. It's all a bit weird. You've got to drive to the other side of town. It can be expensive. You get caught in traffic. You've got to park the car. It's a whole to-do. It's a whole thing. Well, that is where BetterHelp makes it very, very easy. Okay, once you sign up, BetterHelp will match you with your own licensed professional therapist who you can communicate with in under 48 hours. If you don't like the guy or girl that you're talking to, that's easy. Switch them out. You do it all from your cell phone, laptop, whatever you do. So there's no sitting in traffic, so it's perfect if you've got a busy schedule. Listen, this is not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online. And BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matchups, as I said, so you can switch them up, the counselors I'm talking about, if you need to. So listen, take charge of your mental health. Something bothering you? Talk to somebody. Right now, go to betterhelp.com/believe to join the 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. One more time, betterhelp.com/believe. That is better, HELP.com/believe. You're going to get 10% off your first month. Betterhelp.com/believe, 10% off. Harrington, what is going on with Kanye West? Other than losing his goddamn mind.
I mean, a whole.
No. You got no money.
Okay, well, I mean, broke is a bit of a stretch. Anthony Smith. So he was worth almost $2 billion with the Yeezy deal with Adidas. After Adidas dropped him, it is estimated that his net worth went down by about $1.5 billion, bringing him to only $400 million. Now, his fans responded, said this is unacceptable. Kanye needs to be a billionaire. And they started a GoFundMe to get him back to billionaire status.
They've started a GoFundMe, Anthony. So Kanye West will become a billionaire again. What is going on in people's minds?
If you only got $400 million, he's gonna have to really start cutting some corners.
I pity him.
You have to sell a couple cars. You have to bring his full coverage insurance down to liability only.
He's only got.
Can you get liability insurance on a Bentley?
400 million. Like if he's got any half decent fucking investor, you know, like business manager, will get him a 10% return on that. That's 40 million a year in interest alone. I don't think he can get by on that.
I don't know. I don't know. You have to start looking at the dollar menu at McDonald's. Start getting the McRibs.
This is the thing, Bali has got a limited time if you watched the show last week. There's GoFundMes for everything these days, isn't there? They're absolutely bloody everywhere. And some of them are phenomenal causes. They really are, to help people that are poor, trying to raise money for operations and things like that. But a lot of them are just bullshit. This is going to be one of the stupidest I've ever seen.
There's no way that money's actually going to Kanye West. Like, if I was smart, I would have came up with that idea, created a GoFundMe to get Kanye West back to being a billionaire, and just kept it.
Well, to be fair, I don't think it's really paying off too well. I think so far, and Brian or Harrington, just correct me if I'm wrong, I think they've only got $5 in the account.
Really?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Have you been keeping up with Kanye though? Because he has gone, in his words, and I'm going to be careful with what I say here, DEFCON 4 on the Jewish community, and you know, he's talking all kinds of madness and craziness and anti-Semitic rants, and he's, you know, there's a little part of me, obviously, you know, the things that he's saying, there's no place for me at all. Let's just start with that. We know that. But there's a little part of me that I think what's the word? Not sympathize, but I feel sorry for the guy. I feel sorry because I think he's clearly mentally ill. I mean, he's diagnosed as bipolar, and I think he's having some kind of mental breakdown. I mean, I know nothing about that. I'm not a mental health expert, but he looks like he's going, you know, he's acting fucking crazy, and he's going on all these talk shows and doing these interviews, and to a certain degree, I think, and who knows, if I'm wrong, then fuck him, because the stuff he's saying, there's no place for racism or anything like that in this world. We know that. You don't even need to fucking say that. But if he is going through an episode, they just get them on all these shows because they know he's going to be explosive. Then, as I say, a little part of me, if that is the case, does pity him a little.
Oh, I think get him on more shows. Like, get more. Seriously, no.
What am I saying?
Just get him on here. No, like the more evidence that there is out there of his craziness, the better it is for him if that's the case. If that's what's going on. Like Britney Spears, she was hung up in this conservatorship. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Conservatorship. Yeah. For a long time, and everyone was like, "Free Britney, free Britney, free Britney," and then like she finally gets out of it. And then you follow her on social media and you're like, God damn, this chick is fucking crazy. Like, maybe there's a reason. Like, I'm not saying people need to be held hostage and their money kept from them and told what to do. Like, I'm not saying any of that is okay. But everyone was making it seem like this totally rational, normal, average human being is being held captive against her will for no reason. And then, like, the handcuffs and the reins are off. You're like, oh shit, Britney Spears is fucking crazy.
Yeah, she definitely had.
I feel like it's probably better for Kanye West if there's been people around him that are hiding and covering for him and not letting the world see kind of what state his mental stability really is. It's not doing him any good. If it gets out there and everyone sees it and they're like, oh shit, Kanye West
That's an interesting point.
Kanye West is absolutely insane. He needs help. He needs people that can support him. He needs people to help him get to where he needs to be a healthier person. If no one sees it, that's never going to happen. And that's coming from a guy that's married into a family that's got some mental health issues. And like, the more you hide it, the worse it gets. You just once it's out there, it seems to work a lot better. You know what I mean? Like when nobody's hiding it, and you know, with my wife's brother, like when it's just out there and everyone knows about it, like, okay, how do we fix this then?
Yeah,
all right, we're gonna do this, and this, and then there's no problem. Not no problem, but a much smoother transition. When everyone's hiding it and they're trying to just keep it all under the covers and stuff it under the bed and sweep it under the rug, and it didn't happen. It fucking happened. The more you hide it, the worse it gets.
Yeah, no, that's actually really smart words, actually. And it's a perspective that I never considered, to be honest. And you're absolutely right. I mean, who knows? Who knows if he is mentally ill? I know he is clinically diagnosed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it takes an expert to just see.
No, he's out of his mind. I mean, I don't know if you saw that.
I mean, I don't know what the term would be, but that's a guy that needs some help. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the term is.
He's got
the diagnosis is. He needs some help.
Paranoia, delusions. You know, that everyone's out to get him and they're trying to take his money, they're trying to fuck him. I mean, he got dropped by Adidas,
That's what makes me, I kind of feel bad.
Yeah, like, all these brands dropped him. So, like, he turned up. But you see what happened? He showed up, he went to the Skechers head office. unannounced. Just
You got thrown out?
bounced in and got thrown out, walked out by security. You know what I mean? That's not a guy that's thinking straight. Well, you don't even call ahead to arrange a meeting. Kanye West just rocks up, cold calling. Imagine you get a knock on the door. You know, typically it's a salesman. It's Kanye fucking West. Yo, what up, fam? You know. So I got these shoes, baby. I got
right.
a fucking Kanye West impression. That's
What happened on you were going to bring up something with Piers Morgan?
Oh no, I walked in the other day and Callum was watching Piers Morgan interviewing Kanye West. And, you know, it was very explosive, of course, some of the things he was saying, but he had some good ones as well. He had some good, funny lines. Do you know what I mean? He's fucking out of his goddamn mind. Yes, Harrington.
If I send the email, can we get him on?
Yes.
If he says yes, you
I'll
got
take control. I'll answer for Michael Bisbee.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Anthony. Feel free. Hey, you get Kanye West on here, Harrington, then who knows? All those comments in the comments in the comment section of getting you health insurance. Maybe we get you health insurance. By the way, I don't employ Harrington. He's a Gas Digital employee. Everyone's like, Bisbee, you cheap fuck. Get the man health insurance. I'm like, speak to Gas Digital. Don't speak to me.
This is not a job. Just want to make that very clear. This is not a job. I'm having fun.
Harrington, come back on. Throw something else at us. Throw us an MMA story.
Okay, MMA story. So I wanted to follow up with this thing because Volkanovski said that it's the featherweight division that has been holding him up, right? Not the other way around, right? He's been wanting to fight. He's been wanting to get in there and be a more active guy. If they win at UFC in Perth, he said he wants to be active in both divisions throughout the year. Do you think that's an actual possibility?
Well, the problem with that is, and of course, Volkanovski's going to say that, and I don't doubt for 1 second that Volkanovski is being 100% authentic and real about that. Of course, you know, that's the dream scenario, be a champion of two-weight divisions, fight every 3 months, you defend it like crazy, make ridiculous amounts of money, retire as a legend with a massive fat bank. However, in a sport as brutal as this, when you're fighting the number one contender, every 3 months in his mind, in two weight classes, injuries happen, things go wrong. Do you know what I mean? And I think that is what the UFC are probably very aware of, and B, what some of the other contenders are aware of. They're like, I know you want to do that, and I'm sure you would do that. And who knows, in the perfect world, maybe you could do that for 6 months. But eventually, something's going to happen.
Yeah, and two of the toughest divisions in the UFC. These aren't like divisions where he's just running through the entire thing. There's a lot of good guys coming up at 45. Like at 45, you got Arnold Allen, Josh Emmett, and Yair Rodriguez, and then Max Holloway floating around in there like a ghost or some Tales from the Crypt. Like that's 4 monsters that are tough fights. And then at 55, a lot of those guys are coming off of losses, like Gaethje, Poirier, Charles Oliveira. I mean, there's some tough guys there too. Like that's a bunch of killers.
And you never know, Charles Oliveira might go back down to 145. I don't think he should, but if he loses, again, he might go down to 145. Yeah. And as you said, the ghost of Max Holloway floating around, haunting the division. You know what I mean? I feel for Max because
that's best case for Volkanovski. Is that Max Holloway just keeps picking off the contenders. Like they can almost do it as a team. He'll defend his title and Max will keep beating the next top guy.
Switching gears, Darren Till is back in action against, how do you say it? Dricus Duplessis? Dricus?
Duplessis.
Duplessis. He's from South Africa. Duplessis.
That guy's got a crazy style.
Did he got a crazy style? I can't do a South African. I don't know what that is. Never mind, he's got a crazy style. Darren Till, Brian, cue the tape, cue the slide. Is joining me in the Crazy Eye Club. Did you see this?
Yes. What the hell happened?
Look at this. Look at that. Zoom in on that, Brian, if you can.
No, please don't do it.
Like... You're back.
What does
There's
that
shit
look
growing
like?
on it.
There are matters.
What does that look like?
Nick.
Oh, she's a nurse, right?
She is a nurse.
It looks like, I don't know.
This is Darren
You know
Till's
exactly
eyeball.
what that looks like.
This visual is killing me right now, guys.
Say it, Harrison. What do you think it looks like?
What is that?
Clearly looks like a vagina.
Well, that's what it
Why
looks
is there
like a
shit
rotten
growing on it?
vagina.
I think that's probably being pushed up from underneath. I think it's just.
Oh, it's just swollen? That's like the tissue underneath of it?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's nasty.
Yeah, it's gross.
So he's been punching. So sorry, your lady says that she is swelling essentially.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you need? I know. I'll be just grab them.
Not going to be much longer. We're going to get you
I know.
off to your Halloween festivities. How long
Right.
we got?
5 minutes.
5 minutes and you got to go. Shit,
Yeah.
flow. You're going to leave me with Harry Toto.
I know.
God. My God,
Yeah.
what are you dressing up as again?
Woody from Toy Story.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Right, do me a favor. We'll take you off, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to continue the show because we've got a few more points and we've got some questions.
Okay.
You got to swing back in the Woody costume just for a second.
Well, you're not going to be on for that much longer.
Well, how long does it take you to dress up as Woody?
Well, we gotta get the kids ready, and I gotta
Alright,
get dressed,
alright,
and she's
alright.
gotta go.
Fair enough.
All right. She just said we'll send pictures.
There we go. Oh, yeah. Text it through to
Yeah.
Harrington.
Here. You gotta get in here so they can see you.
Hi.
Come on.
Get in here.
Look, there
I
I
still
am.
can't see you. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well. So you're excited to go out trick-or-treating with the kids?
Yes. It's my favorite holiday.
Yeah. Oh, it's your favorite holiday. Americans love Halloween.
You get candy.
Yeah. I'm such a miserable bastard because my youngest, Lucas, he's actually out in Colorado right now. He's gone to his old best friends so they can have Halloween together. So we've got no young kids here. And tonight's going to annoy the shit out of me because I'm
Are you
not.
passing out candy?
My wife will. Do you know what I mean? I'll be sitting there going, fuck off. Stop knocking on the door. I'll be like, turn the lights out, pretend there's no one home. You know what I mean?
You're that grumpy old man.
Yeah. We've got no kids here. We've got the house dressed up, but there's not a pumpkin inside. How many pumpkins? Anthony says you got deep on the pumpkins.
Carved or not carved?
Carved to start.
5.
Uncarved.
177.
A lot.
A shit ton. There's
Oh,
a
shit.
ton.
Well, I guess then, Anthony, we'll let you go, mate. You go and enjoy it with
Okay.
the family. I appreciate
Bye.
you.
Happy Halloween.
Lovely to see you again. Happy Halloween indeed. And I'm kidding. I love Halloween. It's my favorite, bro. Anthony, get the hell out of here.
She said, oh my God, it's hot. I'm sweating. I made her all nervous.
It is hot. It is hot.
It is.
know.
All right.
My brother.
Yeah. It was good doing this again. We're getting consistent.
Knock,
I
knock.
love everybody. Thanks for, I guess, got to bring it up again. Mike left me hanging on the birthday dinner. I'll forgive him this time, but if it happens
When are
again.
you next in Vegas? 11/19? 11/19? Say yes.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Boom.
And
Okay.
there it is.
Friday night.
Perfect. Friday night.
Dinner and drinks.
Let's do it. All right. See you
All
guys.
right, get out of here, buddy. I'll leave
I'm
you to
outta
it.
here. Peace.
Thank you very much. Harrington,
Yes,
don't leave me floating about like a ghost in the wind or whatever he said, whatever reference you said earlier. Yeah, just going back to Darren Till. I mean, that looks nasty. When's his fight? It is scheduled for December 10th, right?
Yeah,
December
UFC 282.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right there. If the medical professional there says that it's just swelling, it looks nasty. And I think if there was any chance of him having to pull out, I don't think he'd be posting on social media. He's busting his asses out in Thailand right now. He is going hard, but that's a tough fight. It is a tough fight.
And that first still in that image is him at the ice bath in Thailand, which I don't know. Have you ever done anything like that? It seems like it's a super famous spa that a lot of fighters go to, but you have to assume if he's got that much ice on hand and he's doing the full cryo, any kind of swelling in his body is going to be taken care of.
Yeah. But the ice baths are so helpful. You know what I mean? I've done ice baths for plenty. They suck. Well, saying that, they only suck for the first 2 minutes. When you first get in, there he is, looking lean as well.
Yeah.
Looking lean. Listen, Daryl's still got a great future, man. I still say he can be champion. He can be champion. He has the tools. He has everything he needs. You know what I mean? He just lost his footing a little bit recently. You know, he'll learn. He'll get better. I'm excited for that. It's a tough fight, though. Duplessis is not a walk in the park for anybody. But stylistically, it's going to be a very, very fun fight.
And it's so fun for Darren as somebody in his position because, 1, 2, 3 fight win streak max, and he is right there in title contention every single time. There's something about his style that's so entertaining and so fan pleasing that every single champion wants him wants to fight.
Yeah, and he's entertaining in general. You know what I mean? Darren is a very, very funny, charismatic guy. And as you say, Izzy's dying to fight him. Because Izzy sees it as a fun, stylistic matchup. Okay, let's just get to what else are we missing here? What are we missing?
I want to see if you want to talk about this. Henry Cejudo. He's been calling out everybody under the sun. So he said he wants an Aljamain Sterling fight. He's willing to fight him in Perth, Australia. He came out recently and said, hey, Dana White and Denzel Sterling wants to work on his rap career. He can be called Lil Power. How about me versus Ronald McDonald at Sugar Sean MMA for interim title in Australia? I'm short, so I'm used to being down under.
Why can't Cejudo fight Aljamain Sterling straight away?
So Aljamain Sterling has not. He said that he's more interested in a Sean O'Malley fight than he is in a Henry Cejudo fight.
Well, yeah, of course. And this is no disrespect to Aljo, and he's joining us Thursday, by the way. No, it's no disrespect to Aljo, but of course, when you look at Henry Cejudo and you look at Sean O'Malley, whilst they're both great fighters, stylistically, O'Malley should be an easier fight. I mean, he's not got the most sensational takedown defense. Aljamain's a tremendous wrestler. That's how he wins his fights. Henry Cejudo is a bloody gold medal Olympic wrestler. Do you know what I mean? So it's definitely, at best, going to nullify Aljamain's style. So, you know, but I'm not sure. I'm sure I heard a rumble or rumor somewhere that it's going to be Aljo next.
Is it really?
No, sorry, not Aljo. Cejudo. What did I see? I thought I saw a tweet. That's not an official thing from the UFC or anything. I saw a tweet or something. Somewhere, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. But
yeah, it was in the notes that they were trying to line that up, you know, for UFC 284, and like that's what all the sites were saying a week ago. But it seems like
right, so that was reported on the websites. That's probably why I had that in my head.
Right. So I'm saying if Cejudo is getting it back that that's not going to happen, then, you know, he's calling for the interim title fight with O'Malley. No word yet from Aljo, so we'll certainly ask him when we have him on the show later this week, which I'm excited for. But would you be interested in seeing an interim fight, you know, if Aljo is out for an extended period of time?
Yeah, but why would Aljo be out for an extended period of time?
I mean, we can ask him on Thursday, but I mean, according to Cejudo, it's to go work on his rap career, whatever that means.
Yeah, listen, take all that with a pinch of salt. You know what I mean?
Of course.
If he is taking time off to go do something else, they will bring in an interim title. But I don't think that's the case at all. That's Cejudo just talking shit. It's funny though, isn't it? Look at bantamweight as well. Really starting to heat up. Obviously, Cejudo coming back is huge. Vera, Chito Vera's really doing big things. Aljamain, of course, the champ, Cejudo, O'Malley, Petr Yan. You know, there's a lot of big names and very talented fighters down there.
Another interesting fight concept. Cody Garbrandt wants to run it back one more time with TJ Dillashaw. Says that he too was injured before their first fight. After TJ was talking about having shoulder issues leading all the way back to the Cody Garbrandt fights. Said he wants the trilogy and EPO can't save you this time.
Yeah. Well, of course, Cody wants that. And again, TJ Dillashaw, Cody Garbrandt. I mean, I know Cody. I like Cody, so I've got to choose these words carefully. But he kind of fell off a little bit, you know what I mean? He lost a few fights and whatnot, but he's still, you know, I always enjoy watching Cody fight. And I understand, of course, he wants to fight TJ again. Lost to him twice. Then it came out that TJ was on the EPO, so he wants to fight him on what he perceives to be a level playing field. And I have no qualms with that whatsoever. Excuse me. And I'm sure TJ would love to have what he would perceive as a very winnable fight coming off the back of, you know, a bad stoppage and being in the situation that he's in. But I don't think TJ is going to be fighting anytime soon, to be honest.
Yeah, TJ said he is going to need surgery, and he's looking like he's going to be out for at least the rest of this year.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, it said he's going to be out for a year. My mistake.
John Jones, just changing subject. He's back up to his old tricks. He's tweeting at Stipe Miocic. I'm just looking for it here. He says, I'm bringing all the heat at Stipe Miocic. I got that fire you could never put out. Sign the contract. UFC 282. So, what is he saying? That there's been a contract sent?
So, he's saying that he has it on his side that he is ready to go for this. I'm assuming that means that he has signed his side. nothing has been shown. He hasn't shown any pictures.
Yeah, I was going to say, if there's a contract being sent out, then there's a fight booking imminent. But I don't know, for him to say sign the contract. I mean, people say shit like that, don't they? I think, who was it? Dylan Dennis was saying it. Jake Paul might have said it to me once. I'm like, what do you mean? What contract? There's been a few times over the years, I think in the UFC, a couple of people sent the contract Bisping. I'm like, I haven't had a contract sent. Okay. And if I did, I would sign it. But, I mean, who knows? I want to see Jones back. It's like we have this conversation every goddamn week.
I feel like that is the Hail Mary. Like, there's something about that for a fighter where it's like, I'm just going to try to stir something up here. I'm the 7th ranked guy in the division. I'm just going to send it out to the champion. Sign the contract, bro. Come on. What are we waiting for?
Yeah, the ducking the number 7 guy. All right, real quick, I just want to talk to you about AG1, which is a tremendous product, which comes from Athletic Greens. Basically, you know, look, listen, everyone's saying you got to get more fruits and vegetables into your diet. And we do. We should, but it's hard. It's time consuming. Sometimes you don't have time if you're working hard and you're trying to go to the gym in the evenings, you know, your diet can suffer sometimes. AG1 makes it very, very simple. One little scoop, stick it in your water, give it a stir. Number one, it actually tastes very, very nice. But the amount of goodness that you get out of it, you are absorbing 75 high quality vitamins and minerals, whole food sourced ingredients, probiotics, and adaptogens. So you can start your day right. And this special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. As I say, it tastes delicious. It takes 5 seconds. You put 1 scoop in a bit of water, give it a stir, and off you pop. Who knows? Maybe you like it lumpy. I don't. I give it a stir. But right now, it is time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. As I said, just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That is it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health, okay? So to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supported vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase of AG1. Very good deal. You want to get this AG1 in your life anyway, and they're going to give you a year supply of immune-supported vitamin D for the Americans and 5 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/believe-you-me. Once again, that is athleticgreens.com/believe-you-me to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. And trust me, it tastes delicious. All right, okay. We got Aljamain Sterling on Thursday. Big shout out to the champ there. We'll get some clarification on what's going on in the division. And we also have questions. And if you want to send a question in, send it to bywmpod@gmail.com. You know the one, herringbone.
If you are enjoying the show on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts, make sure that you're subscribed to the show. Leave a 5-star rating and a positive review. It really helps us out. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you hit that notification bell so you find out whenever a new episode's coming out. And if you want to catch over 350 episodes at this point you can't catch anywhere else, head on over to GasTitleNetwork.com. Use the promo code BYM. Get yourself a 7-day free trial.
Yep, thank you very much. Brian, do we have questions, please?
We do have some questions here. First question today is from Mr. Luis Hernandez.
You know, all right, Luis, let's go.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Luis from Yorba Linda, California. My question today is for the entire BYM team. So, guys, I'm flying out to New York City next week. I arrive Friday morning. I'm going to be there for UFC 281. I'm excited. I'm pumped. But I got some time to kill, guys. So, Brian and Harrington, what are some good recommendations for pizza, top cheese sandwich, and some good local beer or a craft brewery place? I'm staying in the Manhattan area, but I mean, obviously, I'm down to go anywhere. I got time to kill. Michael Bisping, Anthony Smith, what are some places you guys would not recommend in New York City? You know, maybe some, or maybe not even try that chopped cheese sandwich. You would recommend against that. So, yeah, man, keep up the good work, guys. Harrington, congratulations, buddy. You know,
thanks, man.
A long way, dude. Come a long way. Welcome to the club, and happy for you, man. Love the podcast. Bye.
Well, thank you very much for the question and the love, but, you know, don't get Harrington too big headed. Harrington, where would you recommend? Brian, where would you recommend?
So pizza, there is 2 recommendations from me, both in Brooklyn. I'm going to say Lindustry in Williamsburg. It was featured on Action Bronson show. It's incredible. And Paulie G's in Greenpoint is incredible. They have like sesame seed on the bottom of their pepperoni slice. They put the hot honey on it. It's so good.
Stop.
Yeah.
What about Little Italy though? You don't really go down there to find pizza and stuff like that?
No, I don't really go there for pizza.
Is that just like a bit touristy? People go there because they expect to find really good Italian food, or not the case?
It's gonna be a different kind of pizza that you find there. It's gonna be like thin crust, like Italian style pizza.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, if you're going for an Italian meal in New York, the premier spot to go to is Arthur Avenue in the Bronx, right? Like that's what like people, if you're into real good Italian food, like that's the spot to go to.
Let me ask you this. And I think I already know the answer. Thin crust or thick crust pizza? Which one would you go for?
Man, paper thin, like as thin as it possibly gets, and well done, burnt to a
Well,
crisp.
Brian, you don't agree.
I like a not any sort of distinct direction, like a middle, like a medium-sized crust. You know what I mean? Like a standard slice.
I mean, listen, in terms of what I enjoy, I like it pretty thin. I like it thin because then I can eat a load of it. It's the carbs. You're taking on way less carbs when it's like that thick, like the Chicago-style deep pan. I mean, the fucking calories are through the roof, man. And I love it. If I'm eating pizza, I have one on. Wow, I'll devour the entire thing pretty quick. You know what I mean? And if it's thin crust, then you've done a lot of less calories. There's a little tip for you boys. If you're going to eat pizza and you want to maintain a low-carb diet, make sure it's thin crust, y'all.
All of Harrington's recommendations on pizza are not correct. You have to go to Amore's in Queens. It's the best pizza in the world.
Right. Amore's in Queens. Well, you're recommending the Bronx, you're recommending Queens. The man's going to be in Manhattan. He's a tourist going for the fights. He ain't popping down to the Bronx to get pizza.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think what's in. I don't even know what's near the Garden.
Yeah, no, I don't know either. I do. There's a couple of bars that are shit. Yeah, I don't know the names. I just don't recall or remember anywhere in New York where I've eaten. I've been to some nice places.
Oh, I went to Jack Sullivan's for the for UFC 240. I'm sorry, 281, whatever the last one was, 280. And that was pretty nice. Nice little shepherd's pie.
Go if you're gonna get fancy food in Manhattan, you gotta go to Old Homestead and just eat a pile of bacon.
Old Homestead. All right, what's that area? There's like it has like the bridge, no, the skyline. What's the walk or whatever? What's it called?
Yeah, the High Line.
The High Line. There's a few like little bougie like breakfast places around there, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that goes from Chelsea to the Battery Park.
Yeah, Chelsea. There it is. Yeah. They got some nice brunch spots down there. I went there with Rebecca. I forget the name of it now, but anyway, who cares? Boring for a lot of people.
Are you going to be?
Nope, not going to be.
You're not coming out?
I wish. I think we're doing it all remotely with the BT Sport team, so which is a shame. Brian, hit me with another question, please.
All right, this one's a little sillier, and when we get off the air, I have a question about this question.
Okay.
So.
I'm nervous.
Mikey B, Anthony Smith, Harrington, and Brian. I hope you all are well. I hear Dana White's going to be doing a slap. What is it? Slap fighting championship, maybe? Who knows? So I just wanted to get your guys' opinion. I've been practicing. Oh, you can't practice for that. Yeah, I can. Yes, I can. And I'm about to Conor McGregor the shit out of this for you. I ain't trying to brag or anything, but prepare to be amazed. All right, so I got my stance here, right? See that? Push stance. All right, now be ready. Count the rotations. I'm gonna do it twice, then we're gonna go for it.
Wow.
I mean, it's still going. Come on. Is that not the cleanest smack? I mean,
what's the fucking question?
Ready? Line it up.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Listen.
He wants to know what you think about Dana White's upcoming slap contest.
And his form.
Yeah.
And his form.
Just fuck the form, right? Wasted time. Wasted my time, the believers' time, Harrington's time, more importantly. Time is money. It's the most valuable commodity on earth. He was going to do it again. He was going to smack it again for a second time. Buddy, appreciate the question. Appreciate the passion. Appreciate the follow. But, bro, anyone else as well, you got to get to it quicker. You know, this is not your little 15 minutes of fame where you fucking get a 15-minute section on the podcast. You know what I mean? But thanks for sending the question in. Do you know what? I think it's great. Hey, listen, I know I see some purists, if you will, or some people laughing and talking shit. It's like, what, he can't dip his toes into other business endeavors. You know, it's completely separate from the UFC. You know what I mean? It's like Dana White and whoever, what other partners he has involved. I don't think it's under the UFC umbrella.
Really?
I might be wrong there. I might be wrong, but I don't think it is. I don't know. I'm not sure. But still, listen. I've watched. You know, I never thought. I've watched a couple of them. I actually found them very, very, very entertaining. Do you know what I mean? The people involved are absolutely fucking nuts. Do you know what I mean? They are some car crash TV, shall we say? Do you know what I mean? There's some fucking characters, man.
So do you think there is any kind of training that can go into that? Or is that just the biggest, strongest, toughest guys are going to win?
I don't know, but I thought the question was going to be who would win in a slap boxing contest with me and Anthony Smith. That's what I thought he was going to say. And when I did that film recently, I did a fight scene with Martin Ford, who's fucking gigantic, right? And we'll get him on the podcast actually because he said he'll come on. But he's like 6'8" and weighs like 350 pounds. He's a gigantic human being, and he punched me in the jaw, right? And this is like 6-7 weeks, about 6 weeks ago now. I still can't bite properly. It's like my jaw's all still swollen at the back. But it's nothing. I've had it a million times when I was fighting. You know what I mean? You get a coat with a good one, it takes a bit to go down, but it's still sore. So I was going to say I would have to bow out, and I would have to put Harrington in my place. But here's a good question. Brian, and I don't want you guys to argue again, but Brian versus Harrington in the slap boxing contest. Number one, who would win this? And B, can we do this, the slap boxing?
Sure.
Slap boxing, right?
Let's do it. We can set this up in Las Vegas. We know we're going back for Skankfest next year.
Listen, not everything's a fucking advert for Skankfest, okay? God bless you all. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not a part of Skankfest, and I won't be going. So we'll be doing this on a live episode of the podcast. But can we get a commitment from the pair of you right now?
Sure, why not?
Of course.
Slap boxing, Harrington versus Brian. We settled the beef once and for all.
Whoa, slap boxing or slap fighting, like where we stand?
No, you take it in turns at slapping each other in the face, hard as fuck. All right, and you get 3 slaps each.
That's it?
Well, I don't know. We'll figure out what the fucking rules are, but that's what I'm saying. You know, you're not fighting, just slapping each other. You're going to take it in turns to tee off on one another. Brian, are you in?
Oh, yeah.
Harrington, are you in?
This sounds fun as hell. I'm certainly
Sounds amazing. It's certainly made the live fucking podcast that we will do eventually a whole lot better. Oh, my God. I'm down.
Let's do it. I'm all the way in.
Good. Next question, please, and then we'll wrap this one up.
So we got one more question. This one is a little longer. Give me 1 second. I have
longer than the other one?
It is longer than the other one. I'm sorry. People like to talk. God. Here, this one is from John Howard.
Good old John.
Brian and Harrington and Anthony, hopefully you're there as well. I'm an aspiring MMA athlete, and I've had a couple Muay Thai fights in Bellingham, Washington, where I am. The MMA scene is really hard to get into unless you've proving yourself to the guys that say they matter. And I was wondering, because you guys have kids as well, and I just had my son almost a year ago, and I kind of forced my family to let me have a couple fights when he was first born, which was really rough on them as far as the caretaking went for me to be able to train pretty much until bedtime every single day after work. And I have such little time in my life to be able to do things like that. I was wondering if you had any advice on how to bide my time better, or what I need to do as a new father with little to no sitters for me to train because I'm burnt out by the time I'm done with my 8-hour shift, which is basically a 10-hour shift with drive time. Anyway, I feel like you guys get what I'm saying. Finding time for training is hard, and I feel like I have to do this, and it's my only route of being successful to provide for my family, because I'm a high school dropout and I made a lot of mistakes in my life before I had my kid. Anyway, I'm hoping you guys can shed some light on all of that. Sorry I'm making this while driving. I know it's irresponsible, but that just goes to show how little time I have that I have this while driving. Anyways.
Shut up! Right, I'm joking. Get your eyes on the goddamn road. Thank you for the question. We're just kidding, of course. But once again, long-winded. Whilst driving, recording yourself. My God. So essentially what he's saying is, I'll paraphrase this in a little shorter. He's got a child, 1 year old, I believe. He wants to train to be an MMA fighter. He still has to work full time, and obviously that's going to put a lot of strain on the relationship, and strain on time of seeing his kids, financial strain, and all the rest of it. Do we have any advice? Right?
Essentially.
Yeah. Well, he never mentioned whether or not he's still with the mother of the child. I believe that they are. They must be, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he said he forced his family to let him. So unless he's like,
so realistically, he's just going to be honest with himself, because he looks like he's young enough. You know, he looks like he's early 20s, I'd say, something like that. Yeah. Congratulations, by the way, on having a child. You know, one of the best things that you can ever go through. It'll change your life. But if you want to do this, and obviously you're in your early 20s, be honest. Be honest with yourself. Do you think you've really got what it takes? You know, are you having the kind of results that you need to be a successful pro in the gym? Are you sparring with people and it's going your way? Are you known in your little gym or your little circle, you know, for always being that kind of guy? Can you fight? Have you got the mental toughness? Do you have the ability, the athletic ability? You know, can you endure full training camps? If all of that, if the answers to them is yes, then you've got to go for it, because that will be something that eats away at you for the rest of your fucking life. My dad said to me, "Why are you doing this?" I said, "I don't want to be sitting on." When I told him my idea and I was going to quit work and move away, he said, "Why are you doing this?" I said, "Because I don't want to be sitting on a bar stool or sitting on a couch in my mid-40s saying, fuck, I wish I'd have tried it," you know? And you don't know. So, but you got to be honest. You can't just, because you have got a family, and that is your first obligation is to them. You know what I mean? Your son, your wife, your girlfriend, whichever she is, you know, you're the man of the house. And I know we live in this world where everything's equal and chivalry is fucking dead, but still, you're the man of the house. Do you know what I mean? So you can't go fucking off on some wild goose chase of an endeavor, abandoning your family and making them suffer because you're just living the lifestyle of Jack the Lad when it's never really going to go anywhere. But if you do honestly believe that it can go somewhere, then I guess, you know, my advice would be to keep doing it the way you're doing it, because there's no magic wand. Do you know what I mean? Have some amateur fights, get some experience, then get some pro fights and slowly work your way up, you know, and you'll start earning a little bit of money. You'll start getting a little bit of notoriety. And who knows, if you're good enough and you've got a bit of personality and you keep on sending questions in and updates to bympod@gmail.com, you never fucking know. We might have you on the show when you've won 10 fights in a row and you're unbeaten in the UFC, just like Arnold Allen. He's on here every fucking week these days. That could be you one day.
So I do have a question for you, just to follow up on that a little bit, because I obviously can't answer this guy's question, but I can, as like a person who has never fought, like understand like the cap on reality, right? So like Cody Garbrandt talked about this when he was living in Cleveland. He was going to go out and train with Uriah, right? And he said he gave himself 2 years. Right, 2 years from that point to make it into the UFC before he had to just give up and go home and take like a job in a coal mine, right? Like, at what point did you ever set that cap on yourself? And then what do you think is a realistic thing for someone with a family, even if they have all those you know, attributes you were talking about?
Yeah. Well, my situation was a little different. I don't want to go into the whole story because A, it takes too long. B, you've probably heard it before, and C, it sounds like I'm just bigging myself up. But essentially, you know, I had a guy that believed in me, you know, and assisted me along the way. Very, 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 very small amount of assistance. And then I was able to DJ at the weekends as well. So I was able to train full time and just about scrape enough money to exist. You know what I mean? That's all we were doing. We weren't living, we were existing. You know, off Rebecca's salary as a dental nurse and off my money as a DJ and, you know, whatever. We made it fucking work. But, yeah, I mean, that's probably a smart thing what Cody said there, you know, because you can't go after these wild endeavors that could be pointless, you know, fruitless endeavors, when you could be doing something else. But if your passion's there, and this is for anything what you do in life, if your passion's there and you really want to go for it, you got to go for it. But if you're not getting the results, and it turns out, and you'll find out in a sport like mixed martial arts. I don't know about any other type of business venture or profession or whatever, but in MMA, you'll find out pretty fucking quick whether or not you've got this. You'll find out in the gym. You'll find out in your training sessions, in your sparring sessions. And you'll certainly find out when you start fighting. You know what I mean? Did you get the results? Did you look good? Are you getting better with every fight? Are you seeing results in the gym? Are you learning? Is everyone starting to go, well, fuck me, you're getting good? If the answer to all of those things is no, then perhaps the life of a professional fighter isn't for you, because we only have one life, you know, and there's a lot of people out there, because the sport is so popular these days. There's a lot of people out there that and I see it in gym, man. And sometimes it's heartbreaking because they want to be a professional fighter so badly, you know, and they love the sport, and they love martial arts, and they love competing, and they love training, and they're often the first ones there, and they're the last ones to leave, you know. But they're never really going to make it because they just haven't got it. You know what I mean? But and sometimes you want to say to them, but you can't, because you don't want to shatter their dreams and you don't want to break their fucking heart. But sometimes you want to say, are you sure this is really for you? You know what I mean? You're in your fucking early 30s now, and you're still fucking losing fights at the regional scene. You know what I mean? Maybe you should think about doing something else whilst you've still got the youth, and the youth is having the energy and the opportunities and the ability to go off and try and do something else with your life. Because I'm sure that's an awful... I mean, I was lucky. I was very lucky. I worked hard and I was able to make a go of it. But it would have been very sad had I have put in all my time and effort and energy into it, and then it got nothing in reward other than fucking a miserable wife and fucking... No, but a woman that's like, well, what is he doing? Do you know what I mean? I'm not helping the family. I'm not providing, and she's upset with me. Not that she's a materialistic woman. That's not what I'm saying. But not being a present father or a present husband, after chasing some wild goose chase that never gave any results. I'm sure that's an awful position to be in.
Right. So that's like I don't know. I think that is very cool that mixed martial arts is like that, right? Where there is such tangible results, not like music or acting or something like, you know, someone like John Hamm, who 15 years into his career gets Madman, and all of a sudden he's the man, you know?
No, but you're right, because that's a good example. Like, let's just say you're a young, because I meet these people as well. I knew a couple recently, young lads, friends of Ellie's friends, you know, and they wanted to be a rapper, you know, and they played me some of the stuff, and it's fucking garbage, you know what I mean? And they're aspiring, you know, they want to be hip-hop artists, and they're putting all the time and effort into that, because that is subjective. The beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And sometimes if you're making music, or you're trying to be an actor, or you're an artist, or whatever it is in that kind of genre, in your mind you think this is fucking awesome. But in mixed martial arts or boxing or any kind of combat sports, wrestling, whatever, the results are in the mat, on the mat, in the cage, in the ring, and if you're not getting them, then you're probably fucking suck.
Interesting. All right, well, yeah, then at that point, why not? Take a couple of years.
Have a go. Give it a go. Be honest with yourself, though. Be honest with your... And that's with anything. If you're about to go into a business endeavor, if you've got some hopes and dreams of something you really want to do, be honest with yourself. Do you really believe that, or do you just say that because it sounds cool? But do you really believe that you can go start this business and become whatever? Are you really going to be a rapper? Can you be an actor? Do you have the fucking skill, the talent, and the kind of staying power to get through those early years? Because whatever you do, that's what it always turns into. That's the hardship. That's why even people look at fighters, you know, they look at certain actors, whatever, and they think it was always easy for them. And you just said there, John Hamm. You know, I'm not familiar with his career, but what were you saying?
He was like a struggling actor for years. You know, I think he was like 15 years in, like doing bit parts or whatever, and then all of a sudden he got the lead role in Mad Men, and he's A-list actor. He's starring in movies and doing ad campaigns for Mercedes, and that's all like some for a guy in his late 30s, early 40s. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. They don't see the trials and tribulations, the hardships. I mean, that's LA's full of that. Los Angeles, you go to dinner, out for dinner in Los Angeles. The waiters, they're all actors. You know, you get them. I got a massage at a hotel. She was an actress. They're all, you know, but they're all working side jobs because acting isn't paying the bills. And then when you do start, you know, like when I'm acting, I don't get paid a lot. You know what I mean? My last one was pretty good. That was the most I've been paid so far. It's pretty decent. But most of the time, it's very, very little. It's not a lot because guess what? You're not a fucking movie star. Do you know what I mean? You might get the part, but you ain't a movie star. You ain't paying the bills. You're not the reason why everyone's going to go watch that show or that movie. You know what I mean? So it's tough until you get to the top. Anyway, that's it. That's the show. Thursday, we're back. Aljamain Sterling will be on deck. If you have any questions for Aljamain, send them in, please. BYMPod@gmail.com. We'll put a little poll out. Harrington put a Twitter thing out as well, asking for some questions, and we'll ask them on the show on Thursday. But until then, be well. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Harrington. Thank you, Brian. And happy Halloween.
You're back with sports news. Last night saw a huge upset with some hot new talent on the field.
Set of rules. So let's bring in the guys here and see how they felt about it all. And there we go. And it's going to be great to have this very serious conversation about Jake Paul with GC, who is joining us from where? Parts unknown, GC?
Parts unknown, you know, Halloween. I got myself lost. I got a pterodactyl now.
This is incredible. I mean, this is amazing.
We're coming in live. It's tough. You know, the fan not doing the best job in the world. You know, this guy's supposed to be a little bit bigger, but
what fan?
You know,
yeah, what fan? I thought that was just
exactly,
like the. Come on, what are you talking about? I thought that was just like, you know, the ambiance.
Yeah.
It looks like you're in some sort of spooky locale, maybe a cemetery. Yeah, Sleepy Hollow, something like that.
With a large industrial fan.
Yeah, I think he lost
you guys
us.
are going to me. I've completely lost audio.
Perfect. Well, you look great. Honestly, you don't need to contribip much other than
disaster.
this. No, this is fantastic.
Out on an island.
We'll sort that out in a moment. Let me go to New York Rick here, because I always appreciate your no-nonsense approach to all of this.
Sure.
Now here we are, 36 hours removed from what we saw on Saturday. Jake Paul, Anderson Silva. You were one of the many who said fight Anderson, right? That should be the next fight.
100%.
What did you make of what we saw on Saturday?
Yeah, I think we saw somebody who's drastically improving. I think we saw a better Jake Paul than we saw last time. I think we saw somebody in Anderson Silva who was a capable opponent. To your point, I personally think better than the boxers at the level that he would have been facing. So I agree with your point there 100%. I think Anderson Silva was more competitive. So yeah, I was impressed. I left very impressed. Are
you allowed to say you're impressed? Because I said I was impressed, and the avalanche of hatred that I received afterwards by just giving this guy credit, and I understand why. Listen, I understand why MMA fighters feel a certain way about all this. In particular, I sympathize with the MMA fighters, right? Because the MMA fighters are seeing this kid who took a shortcut, in essence, who didn't work his way up the... guys, can we just cut GC's audio? Because I can hear them speaking. So just... Frank, if you could just turn down his audio, that would be great, and the fan as well. He took a shortcut.
Yep.
He's getting paid a lot more than them.
But did he? That's the question. Did he really take a shortcut? Like, as we've said, the level of opposition that he's facing is higher than most people in that competitive space in boxing.
100%. No, I just mean he took a shortcut to the spotlight. He took he took a shortcut.
Fair enough.
I mean, by the way, that's completely discrediting like how hard it is to become a YouTuber. People just throw it out like you could just get 1 million views.
Yeah.
That in itself is tough. But in their eyes,
I get what you're saying.
He took a shortcut.
In the fight game,
and now he's beating up, you know, legends who they would all like to fight, who they would all sign up to fight, and is making way more money than they make in the UFC or in any other MMA promotion. So I can understand where they're coming from. And then I understand where the fans are coming from to a degree, where it's like, hey, we saw this pimply-faced kid, you know, on YouTube 3 years ago. He couldn't even throw a punch. How is it possible that he's doing this, right?
Yeah.
Again, to reiterate your point, Anderson Silva at 47 is infinitely better than anyone that he would fight as a 5-0 boxer. He is better than some pro boxers out there, in my opinion. Did we forget what he did to Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. a year and a half or so ago, knocking out Tito Ortiz as well? Like, the guy knows how to box. And so the next thing you hear is like, oh, fight Tommy Fury. I think Anderson is just as tough, if not tougher, at this point at 47 than those types of opponents. But people don't want to give him credit. People don't want to give him his due because they feel like he's not earning it, because he's not putting in the work. He is, though. He is putting in the work. You don't get... I was there for the last 3 fights. The guy who fought Tyron Woodley in August last year loses that fight on Saturday.
For sure.
He gasses out. He gets rocked. He might even get knocked out. The guy who fought Tyron Woodley in December probably loses that fight. He has improved dramatically. Now, how far does he go? Can he beat Canelo? Of course not. I don't know.
Not even gonna.
But this reluctancy to give him any kind of credit whatsoever is mind-blowing to me. And I'm wondering why it is, where it comes from.
Oh, it's very simple. They're not even mad at Jake Paul. They're mad at themselves. It comes from a place of their own insecurities. They want to project them onto Jake Paul, and he represents that for them. Because they're unhappy, they want everybody else to be unhappy because they're not succeeding or achieving. they want everybody else not to succeed and achieve. So when Jake Paul does, it makes them feel bad. That's not everybody, but that's a lot of people. And that applies to a lot of different people and their different allegiances. You know, Aljamain Sterling spoke about this before. So that's where it comes from. I don't think it has to do with an objective analysis of Jake Paul's boxing. I mean, it's obvious. It's obviously not that. It's obviously.
You know how hard
not.
it is to go 8 rounds against anyone?
Yeah.
In the world, like even against like me versus you, 8 rounds. We're both gassing out in 4.
I'm done in 1.
Yeah. You know, I like I told you, I go to a trainer twice a week. I hit mitts. I'm exhausted after 3 minutes. You know what I mean? So to do that on that stage with that many people watching on you know, on Showtime pay-per-view with a spotlight on you, and then to go toe-to-toe with anyone, let alone someone like Anderson with his, you know, allure, playing the mind games and all that stuff, and succeeding, to me was really, really impressive. We both thought, by the way, we both thought he was going to lose, right?
I thought this was the one where he bit off.
Yeah.
Let me say 2 things.
Please.
1, he stokes this a little bit.
100%.
Asking for Canelo Alvarez changes this conversation, right?
It almost hurts him more, yeah.
It hurts the... If you want to say, this is where I am, rate me properly, but you can't be talking about Canelo. He's not there. Canelo would take him out in 5 seconds. It's just not real. It's just, it just doesn't help.
Agreed.
But I saw a clip of Anthony Smith going around, who I think, by the way, sidetrack, one of the smartest analysts we have.
Agreed.
Like, he is really on point. He made some salient, cogent points about whether MMA fans had a... Sorry, I was a little bit distracted with myself. He made a point about why MMA fans and fighters have a reason to be a little bit perturbed or upset about the way the Jake Paul experiment and all this stuff is going. I agreed with some of it. I agree with the idea that he is trotting out some of the guys who are at the tail end of their career and he's not fighting the cream of the crop. But first of all, he shouldn't be. That's not where he's at, period. But the other part where I disagree with Anthony Smith is that if he was in that position, if he wasn't somebody who was a top-ranked light heavyweight and chasing a UFC title, but instead somebody on the tail end of the career looking to transition over to boxing, like an Anderson Silva, he'd be the first to say, don't judge me, I'm taking this fight, I want to die on my shield, you know, don't take me out of there, this is an opportunity for me. So, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, maybe he wouldn't, so let me walk that back a little bit. But I think there's a lot of fighters out there who would be dying for these opportunities when it feels like MMA has chewed them up and spit them out, and now boxing is giving them another opportunity. So I think his point about like Jake Paul is chewing them up and spitting them out is fair, but MMA would have already done that or has already done that. So I don't think it's fair to kind of put that all that responsibility on Jake Paul to keep them safe or not want to fight these types of opponents, because I think MMA has already rinsed their hands of them, or will soon, or you know, however we go, whether it be Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, or Anderson Silva. MMA has already chewed them up and spit them out. So for Jake Paul to give them an opportunity to make more money, I'm okay with that, even if we can accept the reality that, yeah, they're not in their prime, and yeah, he's fighting a 47-year-old man, but somebody that many of us, myself included, thought would beat him.
Jake Paul versus MMA has been a very brilliant and lucrative feud.
For sure.
He would be silly to end it now, and it doesn't seem like he wants to end it. He's also only fighting the guys who are available. How many of these names are available, right? How many of these ex-UFC guys are available? I think, personally, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, that he would fight guys who are younger, but how many of those guys are available? They aren't.
There isn't.
Tyron Woodley, again, it's a lot of revisionist history. People thought he bit off too much fighting Woodley. Now it's, oh, he was a wrestler. People thought he was biting off too much against Anderson. Oh, he's an old guy. He's washed up, this and that. So it's all this, you know, revisionist Monday morning quarterbacking going on. But if you can strip all that away, I was leaving Phoenix yesterday and I saw George St. Pierre in the airport, and I didn't get to talk to him after the fight. I was like, George, I keep seeing these people like discrediting him, calling me crazy for even giving him 1 ounce of credit. What did you think? You're freaking George St. Pierre. Oh, okay, now after this, people say, well, he's not a real boxer. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
He was like, man, I was super impressed. I didn't think he was going to do that to him. He was great. He went to the body. I mean, I have some of the stats here, and this is courtesy of my friend Dan Canobio of CompuBox. He does work with CompuBox, but also has his own show, Inside Boxing Live. He does a tremendous job. Threw 215 jabs, 140 more than Anderson Silva. 42% of his power shots he landed. Threw 30 body shots, landed 30 body shots. Was averaging 42 punches per round, up from the 27 in his last fight. Like, this is an improved fighter. Is he the next champion in his weight class? Is he fighting Canelo next and beating him? No. But to not sit back and say, oh, like, this guy, like, can you not even, like, bring yourself to do that? That blows my mind. And then also, please, can I just make one, like, can I make one plea, if I can? If he's listening, please. Elon Musk, I know you're a big fan of the show. Please, please start charging us to use Twitter. Please. And I hope Twitter fucking burns to the ground and swallows up every single person that is on that piece of shit tool, because this Zapruder film, QAnon bullshit, that this shit is fixed, these bullshit videos, that this shit is fixed, that this shit is rigged, that you are coming out with before the fight. To hell with all of you guys. To hell with all of you. If you want to say he's handpicking opponents, if you want to say he sucks, if you want to say he's annoying, if you want to say he's the worst of humanity, great. But to call this shit fixed, to see that with my own eyes, and then to go online and see people make up these videos that this shit is rigged and fixed, to hell with all of you. And I hope that Elon Musk somehow burns Twitter to the ground so we never have to be resorted or subjected to any of this bullshit ever again, because it is seriously ruining the fight game. It is ruining it for me.
I'm going to say, hi, Elon.
Yeah, hi.
Don't do that.
No, please.
If this happens on all platforms, not just Twitter, please, Elon.
Keep them on the other bullshit platforms.
Agree with you. I mean, it's just absurd. But to the point, you know, you talked about he needs to beat a boxer. I've always said and long said, and I think at this point, hopefully you agree with me, it doesn't really matter. They will find a reason.
Also, ignoring the fact that he was booked to fight 2 boxers this summer.
But it doesn't matter. They will find these people, I don't want to say they as some nebulous thing, the people who do not want to give Jake Paul credit will always find a way to not give Jake Paul credit. So whether he fights a boxer, whether he fights Canelo Alvarez and wins, they will find a reason that this was fugazi. They'll make up something, like your point about it's fixed. There will always be a reason. It doesn't matter if he fights a boxer. It doesn't matter if he revives Muhammad Ali and fights him. There will always be a reason for people who hate Jake Paul to hate Jake Paul.
Oh my God, if he revives, I mean.
Yeah. Maybe we could do the hologram fight.
Halloween.
And the other thing I'll say, it is acceptable. You can make a very reasonable case that he's improved, that he's continuing to improve, that he's a boxer at this point, and also say that somebody like Tyron Woodley or Anderson Silva, who have in their MMA careers been known for moments of inactivity, allow him to look better than maybe against somebody else. It's okay to be objective about these things without pretending that only one of these 2 realities can be true. It's okay to give Jake Paul credit, and it's okay to also say that Anderson Silva or Tyron Woodley or Ben Askren maybe were not the opponents that were going to push him or test him in the way that we thought. It's okay to say all these things. But I think
that's how Anderson fights, right? I mean, I'm no expert.
That's what makes Anderson Anderson.
Sure, and when I was in his locker room, his guy told me, like, we're going to put on a clinic here. You think we're going to get into a firefight with this guy? That's what they told me.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did. That was their game plan. Now, I guess people can say that was disappointing or he threw the fight. It's all BS. That's exactly what he wanted to do, and that's what he did against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He was successful against him. It wasn't successful against Jake. So now let's see where we go from here. And it's going to be a very interesting story to follow. But to me, like, I learned something. I learned, first of all, I have an infinite amount of respect for Anderson. Anderson at 47 doing this is incredible. Not a lot of athletes can do that, period. We've seen other people have success at that age in boxing, the Bernard Hopkins of the world. Obviously, he's not at his level because he wasn't a pro boxer. But the fact that he stood in there and did his thing, I mean, and handled it all like a pro, like an absolute, class act was great. And now, this story isn't going away. It's not going away anytime soon, which leads us to our first guest of the day. So put a pin in it for a moment, and we'll also check back in with GC. But I'm listening to a lot of people on this Monday. I'm reading a lot of people saying, fight a boxer, fight a boxer, fight a boxer, fight Tommy Fury. That's the fight. That's the one to make. And so I thought, hey, let's check in with Tommy Fury, who's actually fighting himself next week, not this weekend, next weekend, November 13th in Dubai against Paul Bama on the card that is headlined by Floyd Mayweather versus Deji. Tommy Fury joining us once again on the program. Let's say hello to him. Hello, Tommy. How are you? Happy Halloween, my friend.
Happy Halloween.
I appreciate
hope
it.
Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, happy Halloween. What can I say? It's nice and spooky over in England, and can't wait for fight night.
I appreciate you coming on, being in the spirit. Also, apologies to you. I didn't realize that the UK changed their clocks a week before us, so I screwed you up with the time. So thanks for being a gent and coming on a little early.
Don't worry, I wasn't doing anything that other hour anyway.
Okay, perfect. So everyone wants to know, what do you think of Jake's performance on Saturday?
Honestly, I don't know what to think of it because, you know, I don't want to be coming across as like, you know, I just hate Jake Paul, like, you just can't fight, right? But please look what a 48-year-old man has done with it. Like, I'm not being funny, but at the end of that fight, it looked like he'd been in a fight with the WBC light heavyweight champion. Like, he looked gone. Like, he went through the trenches in that fight. You know, he got roughed up, and that's a 48-year-old man. I mean, Anderson Silva is not too far off my dad's age. I mean, I'm not listening. Anderson Silva's a great. Well, let's be real and let's talk here properly at how it is. The man's nearly 50 years of age. He's not trained as a boxer. He's a professional icon, one of the best to ever do it. The UFC, the cage, and the different set of rules. He trains in a lot of mixed martial arts. Now, when Jake Paul steps in with a man who just trains in boxing, you know, I find it, especially after seeing it Saturday, I don't see Jake Paul beating any average boxer. Like, even I'm not that good boxer would beat Jake Paul just purely because everything they do is they know about the sport. You know, no disrespect to Anderson Silva. What big Conor's getting in there with a young fresh man at 50, so all respect to him. All respect to both men. At the end of the day, they got in there and they had a good fight, and that's it.
Okay, just a small correction. It doesn't change your point. 47, 48, you know, tomato, but I don't want to make Anderson feel too old. Is there any part of you that feels like I just said before you came on, the Jake that fought Tyron Woodley in August of last year, the first fight, loses that fight on Saturday. I think he gasses out, he probably gets knocked out. So I was impressed, the gas tank that he went the distance. Was there any part of you that was like, okay, he has shown some improvement since last year?
Yeah, I mean, this guy, I mean, he's bound to be getting, you know, better and better because, you know, he's got money to spend on, you know, trainers. He's got money to spend on sparring partners. And, you know, if he's taking it as seriously as he says he's doing, he should be improving. And, you know, I can't really say that the improvements are very drastic because I know as a professional boxer myself, being around it all my entire life, coming from it. The only way you can get better at being a boxer is by getting in there and actually having fights. Now, Jake Paul, I think that was his 6 fights or something like that.
Yep.
He's not had any amateur fights, so, you know, he is slowly improving, but it's going to take a long while for him to get to any level as a boxer because the only way you can get better is by getting in the ring and having those fights. It's the same to myself. You know, I could be as good as I want in the gym, but when you get underneath the lights, it's different. You know, if we all learn as quick as we do in the gym, you know, everyone would be a world champion by now. You only learn by getting underneath the lights, in front of a crowd, and having the fights. He's only had 6 fights. But listen, there's not too much to say on that. You know, he's getting in there, he's doing what he's doing. But in respect to being a boxer and doing anything as a boxer, I think he's got a very long way to go.
By the way, going into the fight, who did you think was going to win?
Oh, I said even before the fight, you know, I don't know if the footage has been released yet, but I was filming fight and they asked me the same question. And I said Jake Paul. Okay. You know, I always knew Jake Paul would win this fight purely because, you know, no matter what anybody says, anybody who knows being out there saying age is just a number, no, age is age for a reason, and it catches up with you. And a 50-year-old man cannot do the same as what he did when he was 24, 25. And you've seen that on Saturday night. You know, Anderson Silva, he was getting gassed himself. You know, as a very experienced man in fighting, he was getting gassed himself, and that's purely because the man's 50 years old. I think he done a remarkable job for getting in there and going the distance. I think he done very, very well. But I knew Jake Paul win because he's the younger, fresher man, and you know, youth beats old age any day of the week.
Now, we all remember this past summer, I was supremely excited to see you versus him at MSG. I think the fans were. I had heard that the pre-sale went great, was en route to smashing records. Why didn't it happen, Tommy? What can you tell us about why it didn't happen?
It's already out there, you know, for why that fight didn't happen. I mean, I was on my way to New York with a full team that morning at the airport, and I got, not today, sorry, sir. And it's still the same answer today. I cannot get into America. Even right now, I cannot go to America. Let's just forget the boxing talk. America's my favorite place to go. The food, the weather, everything, the people. I love America. I love everything to do with America. And it's stopped me from going there. You know, in my own personal life, you know, me and the missus love going to New York around Christmas. Can't do that. You know, we can't do a number of things now. So boxing is just not what, you know, that has affected. But that is still the same right now. I cannot enter America, and that is exactly why the fight didn't happen. If I could and was able to be in the country, that fight would have happened. And you wouldn't have been hearing about Jake Paul anymore.
Why can't you get into America?
It's through, you know, I can't really speak on it because it has nothing to do with me, you know. The matter of what's going on, you know, ongoing at the minute, and it really is nothing to do with me. So therefore, I can't really speak on it because, like I said before, I have no idea, you know, why my name has got caught up in this, and it's a mess at the end of the day. I've still got lawyers working out at the minute, but I don't feel like I know anything about the situation to comment or give comment. I think my name's just got, you know, tangled up in things along the way. You know, things have been said and things have been mislaid and stuff like that, and I think it's all put a block on it. But yeah, at the end of the day, you know, the situation's going on. I'm pretty sure some people are aware of it and that's looked into it. You know, and me and Tyson just can't get in America, and that's just the way it is.
I understand it's a very sensitive topic, and saying anything could affect it. So, you know, I won't put you in an uncomfortable position. Obviously, I know what you're referring to, the Kinahan situation, and hopefully it gets resolved for you so that you can move along with your career. I'm just wondering, do you have any sense when this could be over? Like, do you think maybe after this fight on November 13th, come next year, could you come to the States, or are they telling you it's an indefinite thing? Do you have any idea?
I don't know, honestly, and that's what I pay my lawyers for, and, you know, the legal team every day. You know, they're sorting it, and I said to them, please get this resolved, you know, as soon as possible. And that's where I've left it at the moment, you know. I'm hoping it gets, you know, resolved ASAP because, you know, I want to come to America, not just for boxing, just for everything else in my day-to-day life. And of course, the big one to get this fight over the line. But if it's not resolved, and if it doesn't get resolved for a long time, you know, I can't speak on it. I don't know how long this is going to take. But so it takes a long time. Just get on over it. I'm not, you know, I'm not interested where I fight. I'll fight that man wherever. I'm not bothered. You know, if we'll get there, this would have been all done and settled. But I am ready to go, honestly. I'm not overlooking Paul Van the next opponent because I treat every fight like it's a world title fight, and I train as I do accordingly. And so I've got to get through business on November 13th, and I am ready. I've said this all along. You don't have to call me out. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to try and build a fight. I'm here. And all these people have been saying I've been running for these past 2 fights. You don't know the half. You know, the last time was not my fault. It's legal. It's to do with law. You know, and nobody's above the law. Let's put it that way. The first time what happened, 3 weeks to go till the fight, broke ribs. You know, and I've put scans out there, I've put doctors, things out there. I've done everything I can. I want this fight. There is no reason why I wouldn't want this fight. I'm sitting here right now, comfortably telling you and all the viewers, I will beat Jake Paul. Everyone going on about YouTube boxing and whatnot. You're looking at the king of the myth, and I'm not even YouTube boxing. But of all my names been passed in and thrown as the KSI, Jake Paul, I will flog them all the same night. So I'm comfortably sitting here saying, why wouldn't I want this fight? For everyone out there thinking I'm running scared, I don't want this fight. Why not? It's a great big money fight for me, great exposure, and an easy fight. Because I'm preparing my career day in and day out to fight world champions. People who can put your lights out with a jab. That's what I'm preparing to fight. And you're asking me to go and fight Jake Paul. Not a problem. I've said this all along.
So if all goes well on the 13th for you, will that be, you know, the mission for you and the team to try to make this? I actually think, and I haven't asked him this specifically, and I think it would give the fight and his career like a nice, interesting, fresh new layer to the upcoming fight if you travel to the UK. And I understand he's somewhat popular. I know you're extremely popular over there. If you guys fight in the UK, the crowds are great. I don't know, O2, pick a place. It would be fantastic theater. I think he would do it. I don't want to speak on his behalf, but I feel like he's crazy enough to do it. You guys, will you try to make this happen for 2023? Are you going to try to resurrect those talks? And if your situation isn't cleared up here in America, maybe do the fight in the UK?
I'm very open to it, 100%. Let me handle business on November 13th, come through that. And then definitely, I'm not going to wait around for Jake Paul. That's one thing I'm definitely not going to do. I'm going to get on with my career, like I've always said. If those fights happen, those fights happen. But am I welcome to fight in the UK? 100%. We've got stadiums, open air stadiums over here, 90,000, 70,000.
You think he could draw that much?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I can't walk down the street for the past 2 years without anybody asking me the same question. When are you fighting Jake? When's this fight happening? I don't believe there's anyone in this country that wouldn't come to that fight. I think over here that would break all records because Jake is very popular over here. My popularity lies here in the UK. So yeah, I think definitely we could draw 70,000 for that. I've seen worse to draw for that. I mean, KSI drew 25,000 for the O2 Arena for a Mexican who I doubt he's even a Mexican after that performance, and a rapper. So I think me and Jake Paul can put on 70,000, 100%.
I heard him mention you as well. If you had your choice, which one interests you more? Because I know KSI is a huge deal in the UK as well. KSI or Jake Paul?
Both in the same night, preferably. Both in the same night, honestly. Let me tell you now, this is what I'm going to say. And, I haven't really spoke on the Jake Paul situation much over these recent months, but when you see me get in the ring with one of these guys, I don't know who it's going to be first, whether it's KSI or Jake Paul, you will see the definition of an easy night. You will see why I've been saying what I've been saying. These guys can't fight. Honestly, it's like me dragging someone off a white-collar event, someone who's just started amateur boxing, and asking them to come in the gym and spar. There's levels to this game, and people have to understand that. And I know I'm not at any sort of level myself in my career. I'm only 8 fights in, number 9 coming up. But I'll tell you what, I've been around it my entire life. I had amateur fights. I won titles as an amateur. And honestly, it plays a big part, and you will see that with whoever I get in the ring with first.
Who's better in your opinion, Jake or KSI?
I've got to say, Jake is better than KSI. KSI, honestly, I think Mulder could knock out KSI in a round.
What?
Yeah, I'm telling you. When I watched him fight them 2 men, I wasn't even looking at the 2 men because they're useless. I was looking at him and what he does as a boxer. He can't fight. There's some people in this world that are rough and ready, can fight with no training, whatever. He can't fight. You look at KSI, and I don't see a fighting man. I see a pretender, plays FIFA on YouTube, whatever he's famous for. I don't see anything. And I think with both men, when these fellas get it sticky and tough in the ring, and they take a few good shots, I'm not talking about a slapping uppercut off a 50-year-old man that glazed him. I'm talking about a proper right hand straight down the pipe and the wobbled and legs go. I want to see the true colours, and that'll tell me a lot. But I can see a man and I can judge him very well. And the moment that happens to either one of them 2, they're going to look for a back door, or they're going to look for a knee. They're going to look for a way out. And that's the difference between me and them.
When you hear Jake call out Canelo in the ring, I don't know if you heard the post-fight interview, but if I'm sure you've heard him talk about Canelo. What do you think?
Clickbait. Viewers. Getting himself talked about. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Jake Paul talking about it. He's made a living off getting people to talk about him. He's not a stupid man. He's a very clever man. He'll mention the big names. Canelo's one of the biggest names in boxing. And of course, he's mentioned for a reason. He gets people talking. And that's exactly what he wants. But do I take that seriously? Not at all. No. I think I think it'll be very, very, very far in the future when Canelo's retired and done with boxing that we'll see Canelo in the ring with Jake Paul. If it ever happens. I just think it's, a name for Jake Paul to throw out there. I don't believe it'll happen one day. The McGregor stuff maybe because he's another MMA guy. But I don't know. Jake Paul, how much can you really take serious of him? I don't think a lot.
You versus him, how long does it last?
However long I want it to last. But honestly, I'll tell you this now, yeah. The first clean shot I land, and I'm talking about clean shot, the first clean shot that lands, he will be on the deck. And he will not get up. Because I've been around fighting all my life, and I've sparred, and I've fought people, these journeymen that I've been fighting, and the recent guys that I've been fighting, they've been getting hit down all the head, up and down in the head, all the lives. And I guarantee, when I connect on him with 10-ounce gloves on, he's going down and he's staying down because he's not a fighter. Trust me, if everyone wanted to pick up boxing at 22 and 23 and 24 and talk about being a world champion, I think everyone would. There's champions in the sport are very, very rare. And some guy who's just come along off YouTube wanting to throw his hands in it and whatever like that. For him to succeed, it's going to take a very special individual. And all these ones that talk and disrespect and this and that, they end up, can't fight. Floyd Mayweather said it best. The moment Jake, while he's fighting MMA guys, he's going to look incredible. He's going to look like the dog's bollocks. He's going to look like he can stand a chance with anyone. But the minute he gets in there with half a fighter, everyone will see the true colours of Jake Paul. And that's the truest thing that I've heard all this over the past 2 years.
And you don't think a 47-year-old Anderson is better than like some 1-12 guy that a typical 5-0 boxer would fight? You despite the age, you don't think that? No?
No, because honestly, and let me speak from experience, these guys that you see, these journeymen, they might be 0-70, let's say. They might have won 2 fights in 50. But I'll tell you what they have been. They've been in there with Olympic gold medalists. They've been in there with national champions. They've been in there with every sort of amateur champion. They've been in boxing fights 70 times plus. And the role of a journeyman, for people who don't know out there, they show up and they get paid, and they don't have any ambition to win, because their ambition is to fight the following week to get a payday to support the family. Now, these guys, they've been in there, they've took the shots around the head, and I guarantee Jake Paul could not stop an average journeyman, because they've been in there that many times with prospects. They know how to cover up, they know how to get through the fight, they know how to survive, because they've been there. They've been getting smashed to pieces by prospects. They know how to get through a fight. And Jake Paul wouldn't know how to open him up because he hasn't got that experience. And people that know about boxing will understand perfectly what I've just said there. And I couldn't have put it any better.
So November 13th, you return to action. Mayweather Deji, it's on DAZN here in America. Do you feel like you need, to kind of put an exclamation point on this performance? Because I really do think this fight could happen next year, and you get on the microphone, you call him out, like, let's go, Tommy, let's make this. I feel the fire in you coming through the screen right now. Is that part of the plan here? Go out there, smoke this guy, get on the microphone. Jake, let's do it. See you in the UK in March, April, whatever it is, and let's finally make this happen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm going out there November 13th. I'm not looking for no points win or faffing about. I'm going over there to do a demolition job. I've put myself in the hardest of training camps with Tyson up in Morecambe for weeks and weeks on end. I've been sparring him for this fight because he's the best southpaw in the world, obviously, and I've got a southpaw on the 13th. So what better sparring? I'm in amazing condition and I'm ready to go out there and put on a hell of a performance. And I don't need to call out Jake Paul for this fight. I think you put a poll out there who wants to see me and Jake Paul. It's 100% yes. Everyone wants to see this fight, because if Jake Paul and KSI didn't have to fight me, they wouldn't. They have to fight me to prove that they are a legitimate boxer. They have to. There is nobody else with my following and my exposure with 8 fights in. There's nobody. So if they want to be regarded as a boxer, they have to go through me. This fight between me and Jake does not need selling. And I'm definitely going to take care of business next year, whether that's in America or the UK.
I love it. Tommy, thank you as always for the time. Good luck to you on November 13th. And most importantly, my friend, early congratulations to you and the missus. I know you're expecting father. Nothing more exciting than that. Nothing better than that. No greater gift than that. I should have said that at the top, but I was very excited about your T-shirt, so I got thrown off there. So I hope that she's feeling good, and I wish you guys the best with the upcoming birth.
Thank you very much. It means a lot. God bless, and stay safe. Take it easy, guys.
Good luck to you. There he is, Tommy Fury, joining us. He's fired up. I gotta say, he's getting me excited. I was excited over there. I feel like there's a real chance. Everyone's talking about the Nate Diaz situation, the Nathan Diaz situation. Here's what you have to remember. Still not free from the UFC and their exclusive negotiation period until mid-December. And then they can match any offer. So I don't think that they're going to, go quietly into the night. And also, worth remembering, every time you think that Nate is going to take the fight that you think he's going to take, he doesn't take it. And I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in a different direction. I wouldn't be surprised if he, tries to get one fight under the real fight umbrella and then wins that fight and then looks to a Jake Paul, something like that. So don't think that that is bet out complete. I actually think there's a very good chance if Tommy looks good that that's the fight that we see, in early 2023, first quarter 2023. Now, if you didn't like the Jake Paul fight for whatever reason, and that wasn't really your thing, I hope you watched earlier in the day when the greatest female boxer in the history of the Sweet Science went to work and did her thing and won rather convincingly once again and rather dominantly once again and proved once again that she is the greatest right now and the greatest of all time. She's the #1 pound-for-pound queen in boxing. She is the undisputed lightweight champion. She defended successfully once again her 4 titles, and she proved once again why she is the best. She proved once again why she needs to fight at home. An honor to now speak to Katie Taylor after her win. This is a first for all of us. Let's go and say hello to Katie once again. Hello, Katie. How are you?
How's it going? Thanks again for the lovely introduction.
Always for you, Katie. Congratulations on the win. So lovely to have you on a Monday after one of your big victories. So thank you so much for making some time. Usually, like I joked last time, usually you disappear. So this is a real treat for us. Thank you.
Thank you. I guess this is my victory tour that you were talking about last time.
Yes, this is it. So how do you feel about what you did out there on Saturday? Were you happy with your performance?
Yeah, it was. I definitely boxed really well at times, the spots, and it wasn't a perfect performance, but a very. I thought I won every round. But yeah, I thought it was a great display of boxing on Saturday night. I was happy enough, and just a great night overall. 22 fights, 22 rounds, and still undefeated, so I can't complain.
Why wasn't it perfect? I thought you won every round convincingly. Why in your mind wasn't it perfect?
I mean, it was a lovely display of boxing at times and spots, but I would have liked to have had a cleaner performance at times as well. But I'm always my biggest critic. I think that's obviously a good thing. What you want to just continue to improve. A great performance overall, but there's definitely spots to improve on.
She's a bit of an awkward fighter, right? Tall, lanky. Did you feel like she was a little bit awkward to fight?
Yeah, she was definitely very awkward, really tall, long arms, like you said, and she's definitely a lot tougher than I expected as well. Every time I did catch her with a clean shot, she came back fighting, so she obviously wasn't setting in there unbeaten for no reason, and she was very game. And yeah, she was obviously a tough South American fighter, and she had a lot of pride in there, so all credit to her as well.
Nice on a Monday to not, yeah, I know you said that you bruised easily, but wasn't the war that you went through in April. I would imagine you're feeling pretty good after Monday as opposed to the Monday after the Serrano fight.
It's definitely a lot different today rather than some other fights I've been involved in. I came out fairly unscathed and unharmed. A few little marks, but nothing to worry about.
I know you are asked this question, and you were asked this question leading up to the fight, but now that it's over, I'm wondering if the response is any different. Coming off a fight of that magnitude in April, and then coming into this one where your opponent isn't as well known and maybe the stakes aren't as high, do you ever find yourself searching for motivation and ever feeling like you are lacking it because it's not the name and the stakes?
No, I actually don't find it difficult to motivate myself at all. I was obviously headlining the show, which is a big deal. I knew there's going to be a lot of Irish people in the crowd as well, and it's important to come through these fights in a great fashion as well. So every single fight's important, and it's obviously so important to keep winning. If they didn't win on Saturday night, the big fights don't happen. The big home fight next year, for example, wouldn't have happened if the went badly on Saturday night. So every single fight's important, and I just want to keep proving why I feel like I am the best in the world.
And what about, your star is so bright right now. We talked about how you were on that list, most marketable athletes and whatnot. Did you feel, and despite the fact that maybe she wasn't the biggest name, but a lot of pressure I feel like now on you to keep this going, especially coming off of that fight, did it feel like there was more pressure on your shoulders coming off the last performance?
There's definitely a lot of pressure in a fight like that when the odds from you are so high. And I don't know what the bookies had it, but everyone obviously expects me to blow through these girls. So there's obviously always a huge pressure fights in that situation. But it's also a great position to be in as well. It's when you're at the top of your game when people expect you to win. When you're headlining these big shows, I can't complain. It's just a great position to be in, and I love that pressure. I think it would be unusual if I didn't feel that pressure at this stage. But I think I perform better when I am under pressure. This is the sort of situation I want to be in.
I think we all appreciate your humility so much. I was thinking back to our chat on Tuesday of last week, and you gave us like a rare glimpse into your confidence as well when you said something like, anyone who considers me an underdog going into a fight you know, referring to the last one, you know, you're crazy. I'm paraphrasing here. And I love that. I was like, I wish I could hear more of that from Katie. But we know it's down there. You just won't always say it. And so I like the fact that you came back. You know, sometimes people were saying, she's lacking motivation or she fights down to the opponents. I thought you reminded everyone that even though you are, you know, a massive favorite going into this fight, there are levels to this game and you are so far ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, well, thanks, I really. But yeah, I mean, I might not be always the most vocal boxer in the world, but I do feel like my mentality and my drive is second to none. And every single time I step into the ring, I believe that I will prove to people why I am the best. And yeah, I'm definitely a quiet person in general, but that the drive I have and my mentality is definitely, I think, on another level.
I love the post-fight interview afterwards, and I love the fact that both you and Eddie seem so certain that Ireland is going to happen next year. On this Monday now, because now the dust is settling a little bit, do you feel like you can say with 100% certainty that your next fight will take place in Ireland?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're already in talks with Croke Park, like you said,
wow.
The biggest stage in Ireland. We're hoping it's going to be set for April or May sometime, and I think it is going to be a complete sellout. And can you imagine 80,000 people? One of the biggest. It's incredible. I was even going for a walk. I'm at home right now in Ireland. I was going for a walk just in my local town, and every single person stopped me telling me that they're going to buy tickets to the Croke Park fight. People seem to be very, very excited about it. And I think it will be the biggest event in women's boxing. It's one of the biggest events of boxing that you could possibly see.
I mean, I'm getting chills with you just telling me that. I was at Conor's fight in Ireland at the 3 Arena, and there were 10,000 people there. It felt like there were 100,000 people there. I can't imagine what the scene will be like for you. And so you say April, May, you think it's a done deal. Does the opponent even matter? Because I don't think the opponent matters. I really think you versus me sells that place out, and that would be a rather one-sided affair for you, obviously. Does the opponent matter at all?
I don't think the opponent matters either. It would obviously be great if it was a rematch, but there's definitely, like I said, no shortage of big fights out there. Any fighter between 130 pounds to 140 pounds, I'd be happy to step into the ring against them. Any one of those fights would sell out, I think. I do want to be involved in the biggest fights possible and the most exciting fights possible. That's just in my nature. I want the toughness, I want the toughest challenges, but I do believe that any fight would sell.
So I didn't ask you about this last week, but I'm wondering now, and I'm worried about this a little bit. Obviously, I agree the biggest fight would be the Serrano rematch, but as you may know, Eddie Hearn and your old friend Jake Paul have a little bit of an issue right now between them. Are you worried that this potential legal issue will preclude the fight from happening? Because I heard Eddie kind of dismiss it, so I was like, oh, maybe it won't. How do you feel?
Grijă-i mai presus de orice, crema niguată pătată pielea și mereu acolo pentru tine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of what's going on there, but we definitely need to sort the problems out for this fight to happen.
Yes.
So whatever's going on, they need to obviously sit down together and speak and talk about it. It would be an awful shame if the rematch didn't happen because of that. They just need to be a bigger man and do what's right for boxing. And if that is what's in the way of making the rematch happen, they definitely need to obviously sort that out. But I agree. I do believe it is the biggest fight out there still, and there is still such a huge appetite, obviously, for that fight. The first fight was huge, but I can only imagine what the rematch will be like. It'll be bigger than the last one. And I do believe that that's the only thing that would top Madison Square Garden is headline a huge show here in Ireland. 80,000 people. I think it's exactly what myself and Amanda Serrano deserve. But if that fight obviously doesn't happen, like I said, there are certain points out there.
Do you think she wants it?
I believe so. I mean, she said after the fight that she did want it. The ball is obviously in their court if we want it, but if you don't want it, we obviously have to move on and look at different options.
Do the titles do the titles that you have and there's mandatories that come with those titles, do they sometimes stunt your growth? like sometimes you have to take these fights that may be viewed to the public as beneath you because you have to defend the titles and they're mandatories. Like, do you worry about that at all? Is that something that like in some ways like shackles you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't worry about it too much. I obviously love the whole on to the title, and I think the belts are very, very important. Now, I have worked so hard to get to this position, so sometimes it is just necessary to fight the mandatory. But I also know that those fights could be bananas for opponents as well. So you have to be motivated. You just can't go into those fights in the face. But once you can conclude those fights, I think it is a great preparation for the bigger fights as well. It is still important to stay active in the sport, and like Sugar Ray Leonard used to say, inactivity is the biggest sin of boxing. It is so important just to stay sharp and to have regular fights coming up.
And just to be clear, there's no chance Croke Park or that neighborhood says, no, we can't do it, and then you're at like 3 Arena or something like that. With all due respect to 3 Arena, I think you have outgrown that by leaps and bounds. There's no chance that happening. Like if you're fighting in Ireland next year, it's at Croke Park.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the locals around are very happy for that fight, for my fight to go ahead as well. They're all in favour of it. So we are genuinely in talks right now with Croke Park for the fight to happen.
Wow.
The thought of it is just so exciting for me, and this is just incredible. And we're obviously going to have a huge undercard in the fight as well. There's so many Irish fighters, even from Saturday night, like Gary Cully, who knocked out his opponent in 30 seconds. He's a huge prospect in the lightweight division. These kind of fighters are going to be on the undercard. It's going to be a phenomenal night for Irish boxing.
By the way, on a Monday, can you give us a glimpse into your life? Like when you walk outside now, are you just being bombarded with people coming up to you? What is that like, and how do you deal with it? Are you comfortable with it?
I mean, I obviously live a very, very quiet life, but after Saturday nights, when it's always very, very fresh in people's memory now.
Yeah.
We go for a walk just along the seafront this morning. Genuinely, every single person will stop and just congratulate me and just tell me how excited you are about the prospect of me fighting in Croke Park. And I think it's going to be a sellout very, very quick. And just the support is so humbling, to be quite honest. And people are so nice, and I'm so grateful.
And just curious, I know we talked a little bit on Tuesday, but now that the Saturday fight is over, if it's not Amanda, do you have an option two in your perfect world?
Yeah, you want from like I said, 103 pounds to 140 pounds. I'm very, very happy to fight big fights out there in those divisions, and I'm ready and willing to step into the ring with any of those girls.
In Ireland, where would that fight air? Would that be like forgive me for not knowing, but like, is that a DAZN fight, or is this something that would be like on, like some sort of terrestrial like I feel like the entire country will stop when this happens. Do you have any idea where this will air?
I assume it's going to be on DAZN, but I don't know if our local or national broadcaster is RTE, so I don't know if it's going to be on RTE or not. But that's that would be fantastic if it was so accessible to everybody here. But that's not. I don't know.
That's the business side. About that. That's the channel that airs the Late Late Show with the toy episode and all that, right? Yes.
You're so excited about the Late Late Show.
I love it. I love it. My dream is to be on it as well. If they want me on the toy show, I'd be happy to fly over for it. It's just tremendous. There's nothing wholesome like that over here. We don't have that type of programming in America. So I think it's tremendous. And when you come on with the little kids and they're all excited to meet you, it's amazing. And it's a glimpse into the connection that you have with your country mates. It's just amazing how, I don't know if we even have anyone like you in our country here, America as well, that is so revered, so loved. Like no one says anything negative about you. You are one of the only people honestly, like I go on Twitter, I get a ton of hate. I don't know if anyone hates you. Do you ever feel hate? Do you ever get annoying trolls? Do you ever sense any of this? Because I don't see anyone ever saying a negative thing about you on any platform anywhere in the world.
Yeah, no, I definitely get my hate.
You do? Who's hating you? It's like hating puppies.
I definitely get my fair share of criticism as well, but that's why I never look at any comments on social media, for example. I think it's it's the worst thing you can do, isn't it? Is to read negative comments about yourself. But for the most part, it is very, very positive, obviously, and yeah, I'm just very, very grateful. But yeah.
And your work ethic is unmatched. Like, obviously you always come in tip-top shape. Now that fight is over and you can kind of come down a little bit, do you like to do anything to take your mind off of boxing, or are you the type of fighter who's back at the gym today and you're just like, obviously you're not training for a fight, but like, do you never step away?
I never step away too much. I think that's the worst thing you can do, really, for me anyway. After a few days, I feel like I forget how to box. So I need to obviously I just love being in the gym, genuinely love being in the gym and training hard. But I'm actually home for a few weeks now in Ireland, and it's just great to spend a bit of time with family. I've been in Connecticut, obviously training for the fights for the last few months, and this is a special time for me, just taking it easy and relaxing with family, my nieces and my nephews, and it's just a fantastic time.
By the way, do you happen to have that date off the top of your head? I just want to clear my schedule so I could be over there. Do you know specifically when it will be?
I'm gonna have to speak to my manager about that, Brian.
All right, fair enough. Is there a date though?
And there's no date right now, but April or May sometime, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's apparently the whole month of May is free for Croke Park, so I think it's looking like it's that month.
Okay, lovely weather in Ireland that time of year, right? So perfect, open air. No, is it not lovely? Is it still cold in May?
We get good and bad days. The weather in Ireland is unpredictable, so you never know. But regardless, it's going to be a phenomenal night.
Well, I can't wait for it. I can't wait to be there. I will be there even if I have to swim over, because that is a scene that I want to experience. Delighted for you. Congratulations once again on an unbelievable performance, and thank you so much for doing this, for coming on. I know you don't do a lot of these, so it really means a lot.
No problem, Ariel. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, talk to you soon. There she is, the one and only Katie Taylor. I mean,
best interview ever.
Isn't she the best? I mean, what can you say? Honestly, up there with my favorite athletes on the planet right now.
I'm right there with you.
Isn't she just the best? You just want the best for her. And what a scene that will be. And I will be there. I don't care if I'm working. I don't care if I'm covering it. I don't care if I just buy a ticket and am in the stands watching it. I need to experience that. Seeing Conor's fight at the 3 Arena in Dublin back in 2014 was one of the greatest experiences of my career. Just seeing the passion. The Irish fans are unlike any. I need to see that. I've been hearing so much about Croke Park as it pertains to Conor's career. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. Maybe we'll get it down the line. Who knows? Maybe this opens the door for that. I need to see Katie Taylor fight at Croke Park. Did you hear that crowd on Saturday? I think it was 8,000-9,000 people at Wembley. Sounded like it was 50,000 people, and they're singing, they're dancing. They're in England. They're not in Ireland. I know it's not too far away, but they're not in her home country. You would think, if you're just watching it, flipping through whatever, if people still flip through channels, flip through platforms, you would think that they were in Ireland. They weren't. And so that scene where the prodigal daughter returns home to fight in front of her people. She's never fought as a pro, in front of her people, in her country, in this epic, historic venue, is going to be incredible. And could you imagine for a moment if it is the Amanda Serrano rematch? We were all there at MSG. It was unbelievable scenes with Eddie Hearn involved, with Jake Paul involved, with their simmering feud. If they could put that aside, and again, as I said last week, the women are showing the men that they can make fights happen in boxing. They are showing them, again, this weekend, we've got McCaskill fighting. They are all fighting big fights. These two guys need to put their issues aside. They need to put their issues aside, and they need to make the fight happen. For all of us. For the world. For sports fans, for Ireland, they need to make this fight happen. For Puerto Rico, for New York, they need to make the fight happen, make it happen. Beautiful May, Croke Park. I'll see you all there. It would be tremendous theater. Now, I do want to let you know something very exciting. Got word that at 3:30, Frank, do we have breaking news? 3:30, we're going to be joined by Jake Paul. Jake Paul's going to step in and join
What's
us,
going on?
perhaps respond to Tommy Fury. 3:30. Jake Paul going to join us right after Sean O'Malley. So this very exciting show just got a little more exciting. That's at 3:30. Mark your calendars. He'll be our last guest of the day. Now, quick word from our sponsors before we... And is GC back? I felt bad that we couldn't get him in there.
Yeah, we didn't just leave him.
Okay, I was worried about all of that. Quick word from our sponsors. A lot of sponsors here. And then I want to check in with GC and get his thoughts on the fight. But first, NBA fans, basketball is back. Tip off the season with DraftKings Sportsbook. Well, I like the music. Very, very apropos. NBA's back. NFL's back. Big win for your Buffalo Bills last night, my friends. Official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can make any $5 NBA moneyline bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. In addition to the usual bets, everyone can boost their winnings up to 100% with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. With payouts bigger than ever, DraftKings Sportsbook is the place to go to bet on the NBA. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code TheMMAHour. Make any $5 bets this week and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Pick the Knicks. Trust me, that's code TheMMAHour only at DraftKings Sportsbook. I know New York Rick wants to say something about last night. We're not going to let him. Please mute his microphone. Now, another thing to tell you all about, our good friends over at the Beard Club are a member of the family, and today's episode is brought to you by the Beard Club. These guys exist for a very simple reason. Growing a beard is easy. You can literally do it in your sleep. But keeping it neat, healthy, and looking great takes a lot of work. And the Beard Club delivers the tools you need to keep your beard in fighting shape with quality hardware, styling products, growth oils, and more. Frank loves them. They even sent me a few things. They've got their shave butter, their oils. I've got very sensitive skin. It's all fantastic. Silky smooth, fresh. Shout out to them. I love it. So give yourself the love that I give myself with the Beard Club. Go to beardclub.com/Ariel. beardclub.com/Ariel. Take their beard quiz. It's fun. Trust me. Use code Ariel, ARIEL, at checkout. They'll set you up with a full grooming kit that's perfectly tailored to your beard's needs. Grow your best beard today and take 20% off your first order when you go to beardclub.com/Ariel, ARIEL. Use code Ariel. That's beardclub.com/Ariel. Code Ariel for 20% off your first order. Please support them because they support us. Back to the guys here. Do you see you there? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, man.
I like it. You're not letting go.
Back. Yeah.
I felt bad. We left you on an island. You couldn't hear us anymore? What happened?
Yeah, so I heard you for like the first 30 seconds, and then, yeah, you guys cut out, and I realized you guys were tossing to me, and I was like, this is bad. I can't hear anything. You know, the studio I was in is a little bit separated from where we're at right now, so, yeah, it was a disaster.
And what do we got there? A fan going or what?
What's going on? Frank said I wouldn't be able to hear it.
It's not that loud.
It's pretty loud.
I can turn it off.
I mean, at this point, you can just hold it up, right?
Literally not an issue.
It's funny that the audio guy thinks that the fan blowing into the microphone is not an issue.
It's really
It seems to be a theme with Frank.
Yeah.
It's good enough.
GC, what did you think of Saturday night? New York Rick and I spoke a little bit about it. We just heard from Tommy Fury, who was not impressed at all.
Wow, that fan was very
We lost the air on that quickly. I was impressed with Jake Paul. I mean, it looked like Anderson Silva was giving his all for the 8 rounds, and it just wasn't enough. And Jake Paul got it done. I mean, I don't know how you can walk away from that not impressed by him.
Man, I mean, if you're Tommy Fury, you're not impressed by him. I think that's pretty clear. What did you think of what he had to say, GC? New York Rick, sorry. I don't know what GC's doing over there. What's going on?
We're dealing with some text.
Okay.
I would have liked to see a little more vigor.
Really? I think that's the most you're going to get out of Tommy.
Well, that's unfortunate, isn't it?
No, I mean...
That was not very...
You thought he was too
definitive. I
dismissive?
didn't feel like that was a collision course. I'll say that.
Oh, I actually feel like I'm more excited now than I was. Really? Oh, wow.
Tommy Fury is so boring.
Oh, man.
So boring.
Frank, Joe, call up Tommy Fury again.
Yeah, he's actually still on the line.
Oh, perfect.
That's fine. You can show... He's just boring. He doesn't
Okay, so
have it. He has
you
the
don't want to see
charisma of a
it.
Tree stump.
You don't want to see it.
No, I mean...
Who's your
I'll watch
pick?
it.
Who's your pick?
Oh, come on. Stop.
Is it Nate?
Oh, who's my pick to fight?
Yeah.
I thought you meant if
No.
they fight.
Yeah.
I'm obviously going with Jake if they fight. I would
obviously
rather see Nate.
What are the lines, by the way, on that?
I want to say it opened at Jake Paul minus 260.
Wait.
Yeah, because
versus Nate or versus Tommy?
versus Nate. He was like minus 225.
Yeah, but what's it versus Tommy? Because everyone says, you know, boxer. You think that he beats Tommy easily?
Yeah, I think Anderson Silva beats Tommy easily.
Wow. He said he finishes him however he wants. Whenever
I'm sure he does say that. Look, Tommy Fury just hasn't been that impressive.
He's not that guy?
I would confidently back Jake Paul in that one as somebody who just picked against him.
All right, so if you're Nikisa and Jake, who are you picking? Because, you know, that's another thing to note that I think pisses people off. They think he picks his opponents. Well, guess what? So did Floyd Mayweather. I mean, you reach a point, you pick your
Tommy
opponent.
Fury in the UK, you do that fight. 100%.
Next?
Yeah. It would be big. There's no reason not to do that.
Not Nate.
Fight. When's Nate going to be available?
That's the thing.
E bine să ai de unde alege, mai ales în investiții. De asta e bine să alegi XTB. Tu alegi în ce investești. Alege XTB și investește în peste 5500 de instrumente financiare.
If Nate's available at the same time as Tommy Fury, sure. Do Nate. I think it's a bigger fight globally. Absolutely. Not even a question. But if you can get one in with Tommy Fury right now in the UK, do it. Take that and run.
Who's your pick, GC?
I'd like to see Nate next.
Yeah?
I mean, I think the world would, right?
Who wins that fight?
Who
Jake
wants
Paul.
to see this Tommy Fury fight?
Wait, how dare you say that?
Who are these people?
I want to see it. If only because then I want to hear what they say when...
Oh, here we go.
Yes.
He beat a boxer. You know what they're gonna
Yes.
say.
Well,
You know exactly
No,
what
I
they're
actually
gonna
don't know. What are they going to say? What's the next thing?
Tommy Fury's a can. He's a bum
So beat a
boxer.
different boxer.
Beat a different boxer.
Beat what? Rahman?
Until he beats Canelo, until he fights.
This is never going to stop?
Canelo,
It's never going to
He
stop?
fought
until he gets a
Floyd
real
Mayweather
belt.
right now, like his brother. I mean, think about it. His brother literally fought Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Literally fought Floyd Mayweather, and there's excuses for that too, right? That there's
Yeah.
he deserves no credit for this. This is a self-perpetuating cycle. This will never end, and there will never be a way that he gets credit as a legitimate boxer.
Wow.
Do you think there is? Do you see, based on how impassioned you were just about like the Twitter vitriol and the fact that they're making up these excuses, creating fake narratives, you think there's an end to this? That
No,
we
no,
just go,
if-
you know what? He did it. He beat Tommy Fury. He beat the boxer. That's the guy. Quite frankly, I will give him a hell of a lot more credit if he beat Hasim Rahman Jr. A hell of a lot more. Because I think he's a better boxer
Right.
than Tommy Fury.
But then, even with Rahman, the excuses were starting before the fight. He just got knocked out.
It's never going to end.
Oh,
This-
my
this will never
God.
end. By the way,
Shoot
can
me
we
in the
just stop?
brains.
I was curious. What earlier when you were doing the DraftKings promo, you said that I might have something to say. What were you talking about?
Stop it.
During that
Literally
fight.
in the back, he started talking.
I know. I knew
I was
it.
afraid
knew
that
it.
his mic was open.
I knew it.
What were you talking about?
Listen, you guys, I've already said the Cavs are better than the Knicks. I think the Cavs, I actually got hate when I think I said top 3, and people were like, oh, what are you talking
They
about?
look good, man.
Yes.
Donovan Mitchell looks like an MVP.
They're
caliber player
incredible.
right now.
They're incredible. No, I mean, honestly, they're actually very likable, too. Like, they're a fun team to watch.
Good vibes.
Yeah.
Good vibes team.
Yes.
For sure.
They're incredible. They're way better than the Knicks.
Cavs, baby.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm curious to see how this plays out. And we're going to hear from Jake, so I'm curious to see maybe 2 days later what's on his mind. Again, I will just say this. I don't think Jake versus Nate is a done deal. And by the way, I was in the back there. So they bring me to the back to interview Ashton Silva. I was doing 3 jobs, which was a lot of fun. And a couple times I was actually right about to interview, like after I'm skipping here, but when Ashton fought and he knocked out his guy in the first round, I was in between the first and second rounds. I'm supposed to interview Anderson in the back. Those are live. I don't know why we didn't pre-tape them, but you know, that's the way they do it. Cool. So I'm standing next to Anderson, and then he gets knocked out. The dude gets knocked out in 30 seconds, so I have to be like, sorry, Anderson, and then I have to run back into the ring. There was a lot of running. Anyway, I'm going to the back to interview Ashton, and all of a sudden, a whole melee breaks out. A whole melee breaks out between the Diaz team and the Paul security team. And I saw some members of Paul's team, and drinks were thrown, like open drinks were thrown, not bottles, like, you know, a cup, ice everywhere, water everywhere, whatever it was, everywhere. Pushing going on, like it got pretty ugly, and I'm talking like, I think there's some footage out there of it a little bit. There was at least like 30 people involved here. Some members of the DS team I'm cool with trying to call cap on me. Like I was there, bro. I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. I was in the back, and then they pulled me into the locker room. because they didn't want me to get like trampled over. But I was like, I want to see this just in case I have to report on it. The one thing that I said that I guess drew their ire was that I said they weren't seen again, because earlier in the night, the Chris Avila fight, they were all in the front row. Well, they went up to a suite. They were en route from the floor seats to the suite, and I guess they crossed paths, and it was the whole thing. That's why I didn't see them. They were up. So if you want me to clarify that, I did later on Twitter, but I didn't see them because they weren't sitting in their usual spot. Anyway, I feel like that would be a huge fight, but honestly, now that I'm seeing all this, fight a boxer stuff, I wonder if maybe the best bet is to wait, right? Like you pause it, you fight Tommy Fury or someone of that, cut from that same cloth, boxed or whatever. You check that box off, and then you do something else. And I also think that Diaz is going to be very cognizant of the fact that people are going to think that he left the UFC to fight Jake Paul. And I don't think he wants anything to do with that. That's why he's starting the real fight thing. And I think he's going to try to fight a couple of people, or at least one person, before entertaining that late next year.
So then, I mean, it sounds like the deck is set. Like we've got the hands now.
Well, what if Tommy loses to Paul Bamba?
Yeah, Bamba. Is there any chance Jake Paul is just like, no, I'm done with Tommy Fury. I'm never going to take that fight.
That's too easy.
I guess we'll find out in an hour. But I think I will say this: when I did the fighter meeting with him, that's the meeting that you do for the broadcast. So it wasn't like the point that he did say he wants Tommy Fury, and he did say that he's open to the UK.
It's
okay. That answers that question.
Yeah, but that's before Anderson, right? So who knows what he's thinking after Anderson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't mind that. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury in the UK. He wins that, and then he goes and fights Nate Diaz.
Yep.
I could tell you about my life, but just like Johnny, I prefer to walk. Push boundaries, celebrate milestones, and keep on moving. Here's to less talking. Keep walking. Norok.
Yeah, but what if Nate fights someone else and loses?
Yeah, we were talking before the fight. You were talking about what if Jake Paul loses to Anderson Silva? Can you still do Nate? What if Nate Diaz just gets tuned up by some people, and then do you feel the same way about Nate Diaz? Because I don't. I feel like you can build Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz no matter if they're coming off a win or a loss. I don't think it matters.
Favorite fight: Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz versus Floyd Mayweather.
Nate Diaz versus Floyd Mayweather. Are we talking like? What do you mean by bigger?
Bigger fight. What draws
more? What do you mean by bigger?
What draws more?
More
yeah, pay-per-view, gate, all that stuff.
We'll talk about on social media.
Just everything. Bigger.
Because they're different. Floyd Mayweather will sell more pay-per-views, and Jake Paul will be more talked about on social media.
Of more interest.
As an actual fight, as a competitive fight,
yeah.
Jake Paul and Nate Diaz, because Floyd Mayweather, who's small, way better than both of them.
Also small, though.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll take my chances with one of the greatest boxers of all time, no matter how small he is.
How do we do on Saturday, GC?
I mean, let's touch the parlay first, as we have to.
What is the streak at now?
Six straight losses. I don't know if we're ever gonna hit another one again. I mean, it's
not with that attitude. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you guys really. I mean, you guys talk about this attitude all the time.
What did we start at?
Good vibes.
We started 5-2 here. Let's get the graphic up. We are now 5-8 after starting at 5-2. We missed the Jacoby Roundtree fight. Doesn't go to the decision. Doesn't even matter because I would have missed the Alan Cater over 1.5. Twice now, my parlay pick has been ruined by injury. Aaron Pico a few weeks ago as well.
Wow. Yeah,
we're gonna hit another one eventually. I can't give out guarantees. You know. Some guy asked me. He was just like, "What's the parlay for this week?" I was like, "Here it is. Tread lightly. We're on a bit of a cold streak right now." But because these are all like pretty heavy plus money, we're technically still up units, barely though. I want to say at one point we were up like 8 or 9 units. Now we're only up. Now we're only up to 1.
Still in the green. That's all right. If you can tail, you're still winning.
My bets. If we want to get into these, I mean,
shout out to Fabian Edwards.
Shout out to Fabian Edwards. I made this Halloween theme because the results are scary. Second worst night on record since we started the show. Worst night since November 13th of last year. Holloway Yair Rodriguez card. So it's been a while since we did this bad. I don't even know how I ended up with 11 bets on the night for this card and Silva Paul, but we got there, and I missed 7 of them, so didn't do well in the singles. Did even worse on the parlays, 0 for 2. The Cater Allen costing a lot, and then obviously our own parlay. So it ends up down 5.4 units. Oh, tough pill to swallow. 4-7 on singles, 0-2 on parlays. We're down to 47 on the year. I mean, in retrospect, you know, at the beginning in January, if you were like, yeah, and going into November, you're going to be out 47 units, I would have taken it on RP just under 60 all the time. So, you know, we're still very heavily in the green, but these last 2 weeks have been pretty good for sure.
You're the type of fighter who fights up and fights down. Big time card, you deliver. Crap card, you fight down to the competition. You're searching for things. You're lacking motivation. You're trying to manufacture.
I like that. I like that.
And that's what this was. This was
Even though UFC Apex 62, I was up like 60.
Yeah, you know, we didn't have to bring that up. Thought that.
I like this metaphor.
But 281, you're gonna smash it.
Oh, I have no doubt about that. I think we're gonna get back on the wagon this week. We're gonna be.
Well, that's not. That's next week.
No. I think we're gonna get back on the wagon this week.
This card is worse.
Listen, we're gonna keep it tight. We're gonna keep it light. I'm talking, talking maybe
right.
2-3 singles, maybe 1-2 parlays. My guy Jelton Almeida's fighting. It's hard to have a bad week when he's getting in there. But yeah, so
You once told me not to manufacture, right? You once told me not to force it.
Yeah, never force it. That's kind of what I fell into. You know, you win 9 straight weeks. You're like everything I touch is gold. Not so much anymore. So yeah, it's time to dial it back in. You know, we've been humbled off of UFC Apex 63 and go on to the next one. Quickly, before we get to our next guest, you know, just a few shout-outs here. The Draft King, Nick Silva, gets it done in a big way. He cashes $100 on the week. And then some quick shout-outs for the big hitters before we get to our next guest. Because, you know, even when I'm not hitting, you know, the people are catching through. Sure.
Tehnologia noastră Imperibru îți prepară cafea perfectă de fiecare dată. Tassimo, your smart brewer.
Yeah, baby. There it is. Oh, yeah. Make it rain. R-E-I-G-N. Get it?
Yeah, we switch over from the Safari hat with our now, pitiful looking pterodactyl. Hopefully the costume goes better for your son this week. But yeah, here we go. We'll run through this real quickly. We start with our man, Almighty Glorge. Plus 13,664. He goes Steve Garcia by knockout, who was an underdog. Junyoung Park by KO or submission. And Marcos Rogero de Lima. He turns 50 cents, not the biggest bet in the world, but still turns it into $69. That's pretty good. 2 loyal followers to the big hitters. Two people that are always sending me tickets. Had to give them a shout out. Die Hard MMA Pod, our guy Clint, and our man Mike Ryan. It's me, Mikey R09. Both were on Christian Rodriguez by submission. Fantastic balls. Plus 600 for Clint. And that's 1,400 for Mike. He gets the submission and first round plus 1,300, $10 into 140. Keep it rolling. Next up, Dennett, 28786 plus 5,766. Arnold Allen, Max Griffin, Waldo Cortez Acosta, Trayshawn Gore, Khalil Roundtree, Roman Tulidze. Pretty nice bet there. Had to be sweating, Khalil Roundtree, but that's neither here nor there. And then the last one. I hate to do this to us, Ariel, but it was just too cool to bet. Calix at Calix. Yeah, I know. I see you squinting there. We'll go ahead and do it for the people. We'll zoom in. He's at the Arsenal Nottingham Forest game. He took the exact score. 5-0. And first goal scorer, Martinelli. 33-1. He turns $125 into $4,250, and he was at the game. That's a big hitter right there.
Hey, they didn't do as well as Man City against us, so I'll take it, all right?
I'll take it. Shout out to them. Congratulations. Welcome to Wrexham. Great show that it was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to see that. Also, we beat Liverpool, so that means that we're better.
I mean, the season is long at this point.
Yeah, and Liverpool lost the lead, so that's all right, great stuff there, guys. Let's keep going with the guests. I had the pleasure of seeing this young man on all throughout fight week in beautiful Glendale in Arizona. We were just outside of Arizona. We had a big night. Excuse me, just outside of Glendale. We were in Arizona. We were in a little neighborhood outside of Glendale. He had a big night on Saturday. His guy, Uriah Hall, with the big win on the Showtime pay-per-view card over Le'Veon Bell. He's one of the best coaches in the game in both MMA and boxing. He's Fortis MMA's own. He's the one and only Saif Saud. He joins us right now. Do the magic of Zoom. There he is. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. How we doing?
Oh, you turned? Yeah, that's better. Oh, now I lost you. Well, there I am. The mirror of death, as they say in the business. We'll get back. Yeah, hi, how are you?
Good, we'll get him back.
It's very interesting when that happens, when someone drops off and then I show up.
Yeah.
All right. But no, his guy, Uriah Hall, had the win over Le'Veon Bell. We had Chris Avila over Dr. Mike. I gotta say, Dr. Mike, I mean, the absolute mensch of all mention. This guy is so nice, so kind. Always a smile on his face. Took a picture with my kids. It was just beautiful to see him. He fought his heart out. He didn't win the fight, but beautiful stuff. There he is. Saif's back. Hello, Saif. How are you?
Good. How are we doing, Ariel?
By the way, is it Saif? Are people mispronouncing your name? No.
You said it right. It's safe. That's the correct pronunciation in Arabic. It means sword. So, safe like safe. That's how you say it. Yeah, you got it. You should know that.
I just wanted to make sure because, people anglicize names and whatnot, so I just wanted to make sure. So I'm happy we cleared that up.
I'm not one of those guys.
I should have known. Congrats on a big night. Had a win at the Apex, had a win in Glendale. Let's talk about Uriah Hall. Obviously, there was a lot of intrigue because he walked away. He comes back. He's fighting a NFL guy, ex-NFL guy, whatever. What do you think of his performance out there?
Look, I thought it was great. I mean, we only had probably about 5 weeks to get ready for that. He was going through some stuff and kind of came off the couch really to get ready. And I watched the tape on Le'Veon and I knew that he was a little bit tougher than people were kind of giving him credit for, but I thought once he got hit that he would kind of crumble, but he did not do that at all, and went 4 rounds, and it was a good fight. I was really happy to see Uriah come away and win in a different sport and just kind of, have fun again. So it was a great weekend, and Tresean Gore, like you mentioned, had a big win, his first UFC win. We really wanted to kind of help that kid and get him a win. So it was a good weekend.
By the way, how often, especially lately, since you've been so busy, has it been where someone who had, where you've had to choose, basically, right? Obviously, you've been with Uriah a lot longer than Tresean. As you mentioned, he just kind of came to you guys recently, but where you couldn't be at someone's fight and you had to choose. Does that happen often these days?
It does. I mean, the thing is, when someone does a camp with us, I always want to be there to corner them. It's kind of like trying to send one of your warriors off to war and saying, hey, good luck, buddy, and just pat them on the head. I mean, they earn that right, for you to be there with them in the trenches when they put in the work. So, we really we haven't added anybody to the team, really in a while. Kennedy asked me, Tresean came to him and said, hey, I really, would love to talk to your coach. He was a little bit nervous when I first met him. It was just, I couldn't get the words out, and then he wrote me a really nice message and said, I really, admire you. I want to train. I want to learn. And I said, okay, you can come, and Kennedy and these guys and Kennedy's cousin gave him a place to stay, took care of him. I mean, I will put that out there that I did not charge him a dime for this camp. I told him I don't want anything from you. I just want effort. I don't want any of your purse. I don't want any percentages. I just want you to give me everything that you have, and I want you to win, because I knew that, man, to make it to the UFC, this is your dream, and getting the first UFC win is everything, right? I mean, from then on, it's okay, let me get ranked, but those are really far apart from each other. But getting that first UFC win, man, that stays with you forever. And, he had a couple losses, and he had to win this fight. And it was just kind of a good deed that everyone from the camp just kind of rallied behind this kid and helped him and selflessly helped him. And I was just really happy to see that. I was in the locker room with Uriah, screaming and yelling in the bathroom when I saw him lock that choke in, and I'm just happy for him. And the UFC kind of picked up on how hard of a life he's had, and these moments mean a lot to these kids, man. It's a big damn deal, and I was just very proud to see it happen.
That is amazing. I was really curious to see how Uriah would be all week, and of course on Saturday. Obviously, when I did the press conference with him, it was a little prickly at times. I have to say, man, he was like one of the highlights of the week for me, starting with the face-to-face that we did. I don't know what changed. I'm sure you had a lot to do with it, but he was just in such a nice spot. Him and Le'Veon together were bonding over, you know, one chapter of their lives coming to an end and coming together. It was just beautiful. And then his post-fight interview was beautiful. How would you describe where he's at now? Like now that that this is over? Because it seemed like a totally different guy than the one I spoke to 2 weeks ago.
You know, the frustrating part for me is that he has such a beautiful side to his personality, and he's so intelligent. And and I'm like, man, show everybody this side. And we all get hurt in life. We all get jaded. We all go through things. And, it's not easy. And Uriah touched on a lot of things this week. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he did a phenomenal job, communicating. And he's just so well-spoken, And at 38, you kind of have perspective, right? You're smarter than you were when you were 28. And, we talked about that. And I just think that it just really made me happy that everybody got to see that side of him, that lovable side. And, he engaged everybody, and it was just great. It was no matter what comes from it next, it was a great weekend for him. And I'm just happy that everybody saw kind of who he really is, because we know him in the media sometimes are
not the best of friends.
Yeah.
Do you want to see him continue to box?
I think Uriah with a camp, like a real camp. We had one guy that we helped him get ready with, Obi, who's one of my 85ers. And look, we're 2-0 in boxing right now. We've been fighting these running backs, 2-0 in boxing, and we're proud of that. Like, they say that we don't know about striking, and this isn't no slight on anyone else, but Frank Gore was training at the boxing gym that had Cambosa there. They had it was a legit boxing gym, and they underestimated Darren. And we were ready for that fight, and we study it. We study everything, and to think that we can't study boxing when we can study everything and win at it in MMA is a little silly, I think. So, yeah, man, maybe we'll get a boxing ring and we'll start doing boxing fights too. But look, again, it requires the right amount of focus. Uriah won that fight because Le'Veon, where he was in his career in that fight. But to fight guys that have boxed all the time, of course, you got to train harder and so on and so forth. We're not dismissing how hard it is, but I'm just saying we are capable as well. Even as an MMA gym, we are capable of not only competing, but winning.
Any difference for you as a coach, just working the corner, MMA versus boxing, or at the end of the day, once you get to that point, it's the exact same?
No, there's a difference. Judging has been a big controversy. I mean, that's a whole different road, but in boxing, to say that judging isn't a controversy, then you don't watch boxing. Right. I mean, you got to go in there and know that you just don't know what the hell's going to happen, and that's kind of accepted. So you really got to put a stamp on it. I mean, and that's just part of it. You remember when I said, "What do you think, Ariel?" I said, "You think we're good?" You go, "This is a fight game, man. I don't know." And you had the mic, right? And I thought that Uriah did enough, but then you see people, oh well, he lost 1 and 3 and this and that. Uriah landed some hard shots on Le'Veon. He just ate him so well. I don't think that certain people saw it, but I saw it. His eyes showed it after. And I thought Uriah won the fight handedly, honestly. But you never know. So you've got to change the way that you corner a little bit, and you've got to really express how important it is for guys to close. And I do that in MMA as well. I just think that, instead of worrying about what the judges do, worry about what you do and just do more. And so it is a little bit different, but the judges, I felt like, got it right. And
sure.
It was.
By the way, fan of open scoring or not? As someone who has to work these corners and try to figure out what the judges are thinking.
I think that open scoring at this point has a lot more positives than negatives. And, people can say whatever they want, but it's progressively seeming to get worse, right? It's not progressively seeming to get better. So if it was getting better, let me tell you something. Let me give Nevada State Athletic Commission a ton of credit.
Okay.
I was a part of a Zoom call about 2 or 3 months ago with Jeff. Now Mullins is now the new commissioner, and this guy is fantastic. I mean, he reaches out, hey, let's talk, let's chat. I had a fight that I was like, I got scored kind of weird. He goes, let me watch the fight. Watches the fight, then meets with me and says, hey, this is what I thought about X, Y, and Z on Monday.
Wow.
So, yeah, and what they did was they put together a panel. It was me, Eric Nixick, and John Wood, and it was all the judges. And I'm not going to say them all, but there were a lot of them. We did a Zoom call for like 2 hours, and we went through tape, and we watched videos, and then we all scored the fights. And
wow,
it was a damn good. It was damn great step in the right direction. And it was a very productive phone call. And is it perfect? No, but it was a start. And I want to recognize Jeff and the Nevada State Athletic Commission for doing that. That being said, it was still pretty funky this weekend, and it's still pretty funky all the time. And you know, us coaches, you know, Eric had some great questions, and John as well. And we're not there yet, man. We're not. And you know, when a loss, you know, and I'm not going to get into Roundtree, Jacoby, this, that, and the other, but when a loss changes your trajectory of somebody's whole career, Jacoby was on a 7 or 8 fight streak, you know, and now and he was a ranked fighter. So now his whole trajectory changes. And you know, and obviously we as fighters, God bless Khalil. I'm glad he got a win bonus. We never want to see somebody not win, but we do want to kind of have a pretty good idea when we're watching a fight, where are we at in this fight? So to your point, if open scoring would dictate that, and we're going in a fight, Dustin Jacoby goes in that 3rd round and goes, what the hell? I thought it was up, but I'm not. And he presses on the gas. Why don't we talk about that being just as important as people laying off the gas, right? And, you know, maybe they could do something where if you know, you get in an activity or something. I don't know, but I would say that there's definitely many more positives for open scoring than there are negatives. And I think that trend is continuing. So I don't know why it's such a big deal, and everyone points to, well, the person's going to do absolutely nothing. Well, then the whole world's going to watch a person be a coward and do nothing in the 3rd round. Like, I don't think fighters really think that way, right? Like, and I think if a fighter thinks he's up anyway, he's going to be a little bit more careful in spots anyway. So I think that, you know, you could look at it both ways, but again, I feel like we're still not in a place where we feel like we're trending upward, even though the effort is there. I need to say that.
Okay. Very interesting. Speaking of corner work, I love listening to you in the corner when we can. I'm curious about the psychology of dealing with different personalities, right? And how you approach that. Is it all spur of the moment? Is it all like, I need to, you know, give this guy a little bit of a light under his butt. I need to do this. Certain guys don't respond to tough love. Certain guys do. Is it just based on personalities, or do you have a certain set, you know, kind of, you know, approach to how to deal with it? Because you only get a minute. I mean, it's so fast, but it could be effective when you
Yeah, 60 seconds, so 60 and 40 seconds. The reality is I've been with my fighters so long. We have been through so much together. So many wars, so many trips to the hospital, so many crazy moments. I mean, we're close, man. We're really, really close. Me and all my athletes are very close. That's why I don't corner people that I just work with a guy this one time and I'm doing this. I don't do that because I can sit and look someone in the face and just tell them the damn truth. And I think, you know, I got a lot of love for the MMA fans in the media because they give me tons of love. But I always say, you're giving me love for just telling the truth, which I appreciate. But I've never understood the, like, hey, you're doing great. Hey, things are really working out. Hell no, they're not working out. You're down 2 rounds, and if you don't do something amazing, you're about to lose. And the loss in MMA is catastrophic. Let's just be honest. So I'm just very honest in the moment. I analyze what's going on. I see where does the fighter need to improve? What do we need to do to win? And that's all that matters. And that's really all I try to do is communicate the truth, Ariel. And I think it comes across sometimes, you know, in a way that people make these clips and stuff, and they tag me, which, you know, I've never once reposted that, and I will touch on that. I will never, ever make it about me, right? Why would I post my fighter fucking struggling and then me yelling at him and him coming back and winning? Like, that's my damn job. I don't need to highlight me. Let's highlight him winning. How about that? And lastly, I'll say, I always tell my guys, you know, the best days are when I don't have to say a damn word and I can just come out there and take the picture and win, right? I mean, I don't need to say anything. There's times where I'm just like, Jeff Neal, Vicente Luque, 3rd round. I mean, I got on his ass before that, but during the 3rd round, I didn't have to say a whole lot of anything because he was like, okay, all right. Like, these guys are amazing. You know, these fighters are amazing. We've been together so long. I know when to just sit back and let them roll, and I know when they really need me, and I just act accordingly.
Back to your, can he beat Jake Paul?
He could, but he would have to train, and I told him that, you know, and I think Jake, you've got to recognize facts, and Jake, look, I thought Anderson did fantastic. I thought Anderson's something else. I mean, he's a special guy, and he went in there and touched Jake. That uppercut with Jake falling back, you know, the ring generalship, Anderson was on him. But after the 4th round, Anderson got a little tired. I mean, he is 48 years old, 47 years old then. And I thought that Jake stepped his game up then in the later rounds. And obviously he got the knockdown, but even before that, Jake's in shape. He's a young kid who goes to the gym and busts his ass. He's obviously doing the work. And again, say what you want, he's still fighting guys that, yeah, I know he's old, but look at boxers' records in the beginning of their careers. They don't take on challenges. They get built up. That's the way boxing is. That's why you always see these guys avoiding each other when they're 40-0 and 38-0, because that's the way it is. They avoid each other because they realize that a loss changes the whole, course of their careers. So they definitely don't take fights like we do in MMA at 3-0, A loss in MMA is a little bit different, right? Guys kind of understand now, okay, for example, Alex Pereira, he lost his first MMA fight. Everyone kind of understands, okay, he's figuring it out. Kamaru Usman lost the fight at the very beginning. Nobody says, oh yeah, he sucks. Right. But in boxing, it kind of changes things. So I think we've got to recognize that Jake is still, there are challenges for him. It's a step up for him, and that's what's important, right? That needs to be recognized. And I think that he, I think that he's getting tougher. I think he's a kid that's getting tougher. I understand people saying he's not good and he's got a lot of holes. I get boxers saying that too. So there's two sides to every coin there, but I do think he's in shape. I think Uriah's 38. I think he's 25 or 26. I think he's training his ass off, and I think he's got momentum. And I think you've got to recognize those things, and you've got to take Le'Veon. You had to take seriously. Nobody's a joke here. Just because everyone watches it on the internet and says, "Oh, he's going to kill him," and what the hell do you know? Have you ever done it? Have you ever done 3 rounds? Like it doesn't matter what you think, man. Like, I don't go to your job and tell you, like, no, you know what, you're doing this wrong. You got to understand that. Like, I could, if I came in the studio, and I know a lot about MMA, and I was like, Ariel, just let me run shit today. Right? Let me have it. Like, I got it, Ariel. I know all these people. And I see him every weekend. Just let me handle it. He'd be like, Steve, I really think we should do a couple practice runs first. I'd be like, Ariel, just fucking go on vacation. Just give it to me, right? How much of a disaster would that be? Right? I mean, hell, this Zoom call got dropped once already from somebody calling me. Experience matters, man. And I think that we just got to look at everything kind of with a truthful eye. Let's just be honest. Let's not always look to put everybody down. He sucks, that sucks, that sucks. Let's just celebrate things for what they are and move on. So
well said, well put. And by the way, I do think you're coming for my job. I see you now doing these breakdowns. And you're doing a great job with them. Is this the beginning of a new career for you? I want to see you on the broadcast between rounds now. Enough of these other jamokes. I want to see you up there.
So much credit to Ben Chiliberti, the UFC. He's an executive producer. He reached out to me, and nobody knows these guys, right? These are the guys behind the scenes that nobody knows, but they make these things happen. And he goes, hey, I think that you'd be really good at this. And why don't you try it? And I was telling my wife, I was like, I got so much stuff going on. I'm cornering everybody every week. I was like, this is going to be an undertaking. If I do it, I'm going to study tape. I did the first one and got such a good reception and so much love and appreciation. And people were like, that really helped me understand MMA. They're like, man, you got to do it again. So then they asked me to do the next main event, and with Makhachev and Charles. And I said, okay, I'm gonna do that one. And I'm actually flying out tomorrow to do Izzy and Alex. So the truth is that we study film vigorously, and this is what we do. And every time we have a fight, we break down this tape and we go over every little thing. And it's been fun to do that for athletes that are not my own. I have a new appreciation for each one of the champions. I think that it's all those little details, man, that people don't see that they are doing. And I think that it's been fantastic. And we'll see. I don't know about commentating. I think that I'm a coach. That's what I do. So breakdown kind of makes sense for me because I'm still kind of coaching or explaining. But talking about other people that are not my own, I've got 21 fighters right now, competing, and we've got Jeff at number 6. We got Ryan Spann about to fight Dominic Reyes, Madison Square Garden. We've got Schnell off that huge win that he had against Sumadarji, fighting Nicolau after that. Kennedy's coming now, starting surge. I think he's going to be something, and I could go on and on. So my dedication and focus is to my fighters, and I think that the Breakdown Show has made me a better coach because I've had to focus even more, and for that, I can file it under that it makes me better at my job, so I will do it. But anything that takes away from my athletes or my time or my focus and my dedication of what we started 10 years ago, I've got to really analyze. So I think you're going to be staying in that show for a long time.
Well, you do a great job with it, honestly. And I hope I'm not oversharing, but I was at breakfast with my family, and I saw you there the first day that we were there, Thursday morning. And we were talking about it, and you showed me the notes that you put together for these, and I was blown away by how detailed it was and how you have to remember all of it. There's no prompts or anything like that, so you're really taking this seriously. It says a lot about your preparation, the way you attack things. Obviously, you do the same when it comes to fighting, but you were, that was like 8 pages or something of detailed notes.
14.
14? Jeez Louise, I don't want to sell you short. 14 pages of detailed notes on this show. Unbelievable. By the way, not to, but tell them about Walter's right hand. I mean, you felt my 8-year-old son's right hand. I mean,
we got to talk about this.
Tell them.
So Dad's over. Usually they oversell. This kid, he's dead. This kid, he's dead. Let's just talk about beautiful family. Ariel's got a beautiful family.
Thank you.
And we know your daughter's the dominator. She was kind of dictating the pace.
She was.
Me as a man with 2 daughters, completely understand that. And daughters rule the roost, and I get that. You got 2 sons. And well-mannered boys, nice and quiet, right? And they had the Bills paraphernalia going. Definitely well-rooted in the Helwani tradition. But your son, unprompted, unscripted, you were like, yeah. And I mean, you just were like, hey man, this kid got a good right hand. This kid he's got a Deontay Wilder right hand. I mean, let me tell you something now, all right? You can laugh. I'm not telling you this to make you feel good about yourself, because I don't know. Maybe you got it from his mom, Ariel. Maybe it's
very good chance.
So, but this kid, I mean, he popped the jab, but he just sat down on it. And then remember, I mean, the knuckles were getting closer and closer to my face, and you were like, whoa, slow down. You're like, slow down, man, don't hit him. And you never know. It's always the quiet one.
Yeah.
Right? It's always the quiet one. But the kid has a heavy too. And I told you, look, I love training kids. And, my daughters themselves, they take class at the gym. And it's just pure, man. Everybody should know how to fight so they feel good about who they are. They feel they can protect themselves. And nobody should ever feel like, they can't stand up for themselves or that they're weak or that they'll be bullied. And it doesn't matter how quiet someone is or how shy they are. Knowing that knowledge, and that's a big thing what we do at the gym, right? We've got a lot of fighters. We have so many other people that don't fight professionally, but we give them that knowledge and that confidence, and we build that feeling inside them that they are in control, that they are powerful. And martial arts is amazing, man. You see this a lot in jiu-jitsu, and no punches are even being thrown, right? It changes people's lives, and I think that it empowers people, and you can see him, right? I mean, he was smiling. Was he practicing after that?
Afterwards, I was holding up my hands, and I actually felt like he was hitting me harder. I was like, why didn't you show him this? I felt like you were holding back. He's like, I didn't want to. I was like, no, you gave him 50%. But yeah, it was great, man. I really, really appreciate it. I can tell you brightened his day. It was really, really nice. It was one of the highlights of the trip to see you on the first morning there, hang out with you for a bit, eat a bit, and introduce you to my family. So thank you for that. Thank you. You were really kind to them. And congrats to you and the team on an incredible weekend. And I'm curious to see where this boxing thing goes for you guys. Like you said, you're 2-0 now, so why not keep it going? Appreciate it.
You never know what's going to happen. So, but again, it will require a lot of work. So nothing is easy, and all of it requires a lot of work in boxing too. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, it's no problem. No, it requires a ton of work as well. So,
good luck in November. Big fights for you. Can't wait for them. Thanks for the time, my man.
Thank you very much, man. Good to see you. Thanks.
There he is, Sayif Saud, the head man over at Fortis MMA. Big weekend for him, and yeah, he held up the hands for Walter, and he was cracking him. I was like, oh yeah, look at that. Big time MMA coach, impressed with my son's right hand. Listen, I may not be the fighter, but there might be a Helwani coming up who will truly represent Helwani boxing. Now, let's move along. Very excited to talk to our next guest. couple weeks ago, had a tough night in Abu Dhabi, but he has dusted himself off. He is back on the horse, so to speak, and I still think very, very big things to come. Of course, you remember the main event, Islam Makhachev, Charles Oliveira. Remember what happened to Makhachev around 10 or so fights ago. Everyone drops one. Everyone has a bad night at the office. It's how you return. It's how you come back. I expect big things from this man. I'm talking about Sean Brady, who had the tough fight against Bilal Muhammad, but kind enough to join us. Hey, Sean, how are you? Thanks for doing this.
What's up, brother? Yeah, man, of course. I'm good. I'm home. Thank God. It was a long trip home, but I'm back in Philly. Been here for about a week, just getting back into the groove of things. I trained this morning, so I'm good, man. I'm honestly the best I've ever been, which is pretty crazy to say, but I'm great.
So for someone listening to that, why are you the best that you've ever been? Because they would think maybe that, you would be somewhere lamenting the fact, sad about the fact that you lost. Why are you the best you've ever been?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. After the fight, listen, I cried. I had my moments. I had my moments on the plane coming home. Even when I got home, the first day was kind of not the easiest, but I had this sense, literally the second that fight was over, I had like this sense of relief. Like I was carrying around like this weight on my shoulders of like being undefeated, and it almost felt like my entire life was built around me being undefeated, and that if I lost that, my life would be over. And that's kind of how it felt. Even the week like in Abu Dhabi, I told my wife I was having dreams that I lost the fight, and it was just my dream was me being the way I am right now, and life just being like normal. Like in my mind, I thought life was going to end if I lost the fight. So I wasn't even fighting to win. I was just fighting not to lose my record, if that makes sense. And as soon as I lost, I'm like, man, that's the worst thing that could have happened to me. And it's done. Like it's over with. I don't have to worry about it anymore. So my mind has just opened up so much. And I just feel this sense of relief that I can just be like a new person. Like I can be a new fighter. And yeah, it's just a crazy, crazy experience and a crazy weight off my shoulders.
Wow. I can understand that. We've heard that from undefeated fighters or even champions who lose the belt but then seem to be relieved afterwards. So we've heard this sort of thing before. Are you surprised by that feeling? Like, did you think that was going to be a thing if you ever did have to deal with a loss?
Yeah, and I've always asked myself, like, I'm always asking myself, how are you going to react if you lose, because it's a possibility. And I know, like, I mentally beat myself. Like, I went back and I watched the fight, and I looked good the first round. But in my mind, I was like, I'm my hardest critic, and it cost me the fight. But if I could go back and win the fight, if I had the choice, I wouldn't have, because all the lessons I've learned about myself and all these little things I need to change and I'm going to change going forward would never have happened. I would have continued to do the same things I was doing, and eventually it would have caught up to me. So I'm so happy that this loss happened to me now. Because like you said, guys would lose one fight and then they go on these crazy tears. GSP lost, went on a crazy tear. Islam lost once. Everyone's going to lose eventually. And I'm really surprised with how good I'm handling it. And I see people and they come up to me and they like are saying sorry, and like they're like hitting up me and my wife. And they feel okay. I'm like, listen, like I'm good. Like I'm back in the gym. Like I'm happy. Like I'm not devastated. Like, yeah, it sucks, but you can't go swimming without getting wet. Like, eventually it's going to happen, and it's going to happen to all of us, but I'm not even 30 years old. I'm so young in my career. I literally feel like this is just my career starting now. Like, now I can just be a completely different fighter, a completely different person, and not have to worry about losing, because I always wondered, I'm like, damn, like, it's going to be over if I lose, and life just rolls on. Like, it's the same. My life is completely normal. The people who love me. My team loves me. I'm still ranked in the top 10 in the UFC. I'm going to go and train and fight again soon, and I get to go and do it again, and that's the best thing. And yeah, I started working with a new mental coach already. His name's Brian Kane. He worked with GSP after his first fight. So I'm just doing all these new things. I'm going to go train, get with some different bodies, not leave my team, but just go travel a little bit, train. I got to get outside my comfort zone, and I would have never done that if I would have won this fight. So I'm just opening up a whole bunch of new doors.
So you wrote that in a post after the fight that you were going to get out of your comfort zone. And I was just about to ask you what you meant by that. So does that mean, because when you're undefeated, you're like, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But now that that's gone, you can go out and train with other people?
Yeah, and I've always wanted to go to Florida and train with those guys down there. Like, I have connections with guys, and I just always wanted to train, and I just never did because I just lived inside of my comfort zone and like just always just doing my same routine and just being comfortable with that and training with the same guys. Don't get me wrong, I'm not leaving my team, like that's not what I'm saying, but I want to go train and learn some new things from different people and train with different bodies and just get different experiences, and I feel like I've always held myself back from that. Like, I'm going to go down to Texas and train with Gordon Ryan and those jiu-jitsu guys and just go do different things. I always just get so caught up in what I was doing and just trying to be the best at everything and just being comfortable where I was at instead of like going and maybe getting beat up by some different guys, So now I'm going to open up those doors and do that. I got to go be the nail somewhere. I can't always just be the hammer in where I'm at.
In Florida, do you mean the Killcliff guys, formerly Sanford?
Yeah, so Eddie Alvarez obviously has a good connection with them. And I fought one of their guys a while ago. And afterwards, me and Henry Hooft have always kind of chatted. And I know like Brendan Allen and those guys down there. And Aaron Jeffrey, who I fought, he's down there. So there's so many good guys down there. I would love to get down there if they would have me and train and just mix it up with those guys. And I know Eddie goes back and forth between here and Florida. So he called me right after the fight. He's like, dude, we can book a flight down there whenever you want. So nice. I have so many options, and I just gotta I can only do this for so long. I gotta go and open up those doors now.
And by the way, look no further than the man who beat you a couple weeks ago, Bilal Muhammad, who I think has looked great as of late. Someone who stumbled early on, but now on quite a roll and very close to that title picture. I'm wondering, in retrospect, did you underestimate him?
No, I didn't underestimate him at all. I trained hard for that fight, and that's another thing that is I'm very fortunate that happened. If I would have won that fight, I would have either been fighting for a #1 contender or even possibly for the belt. Like, crazier things have happened, and I'm not ready for that. And I'm honest with myself, and I know mentally I'm not. Physically, my skills, I know I can beat anybody in the world, but mentally, that entire week, I just beat myself. Even going into the fight,
over there.
like walking to the arena, like I beat myself. Like,
how did you beat yourself?
Good.
Who's your type?
I just didn't. I didn't believe in myself. I started questioning myself. Like, do you deserve to be here? And I'm, like I said, I was having those dreams that I lost, and it wasn't even in my mind that in the dream I lost a Bilal. I just lost a fight, and I'm like, fuck, like, and I couldn't get back on track to me winning. Like, my thoughts, and every time I thought about it, I could never go back to how good I was and how good my skills were. So I was mentally beat before I even got in there. And even when that flurry of punches were going on, I wasn't out. I should have grabbed him. I should have threw one punch back. I was watching the clock. I watched the clock go from 20 down to 11, and I thought I was going to make it to the next round. But I froze. I didn't grab him, or I didn't try to do something which I should have done, and I just mentally fucking froze. And
do you think it was the moment, being overseas, pay-per-view, high-profile card, did any of that come into play?
Probably a little bit. Like, it was definitely, it was a very, for the record, everybody in Abu Dhabi was super nice, but walking out, it was hostile as shit. Like, it was a very hostile crowd to walk out. I imagine it's probably what it's like walking out in Philly, but it was very hostile. And like I said, like, even the first round, like, I went back and seen what a lot of people thought I won the first round, but in my mind, going into the second round, I'm like, fuck, you lost that round. I never gave myself a chance.
Got it.
And then it just was over before I even even like when I shot a couple takedowns, like, everyone who knows me afterwards was like, dude, like, you don't shoot.
We're going through tough times. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times. We're going through tough times. I feel weaker now. We're going through tough times.
Like that.